Chapter 2195. Kill. 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 The 8 black god zombies behind Hua Xiang roared at the same time. Every word contained monstrous killing intent, as if it could tear everything apart. Their auras merged with Hua Xiang's and became incomparably terrifying, causing the surrounding void to distort. Black light soared into the sky with unstoppable momentum. The surrounding people felt a chill all over their bodies, as if they were being stared at by some ancient ferocious beast. They felt uneasy all over. Long Outyan and Hua Xiang? These two are fated enemies, but Hua Xiang was once defeated by Long Outyan. Does he have something to rely on? Who can say for sure? Hua Xiang's subordinates actually have experts from the ancient zombie clan serving him. He must have obtained a great opportunity and fortune. I'm afraid it's hard to say how this battle will turn out. A battle between peerless geniuses might be able to let us catch a glimpse of heaven's secrets and find the way to break through to the 3rd level of heaven treading. Everyone's eyes were also filled with anticipation. They all felt that they were about to witness an unprecedented fierce battle. Among the current human race, the Emperor was naturally worthy of being the strongest. He was even the most dazzling existence among the billions of races in the universe. Many people believed that the Emperor was the one with the most hope of becoming the chosen one. Below the Emperor were the various saints' geniuses and monstrous geniuses, as well as the princes of the hidden monarch clans. Ling Xiao and Hua Xiang belonged to this category. They were both people that everyone believed had the qualifications to compete for the chosen one. These two geniuses were about to have a huge battle, and it might even be a battle of life and death. Naturally, everyone was incomparably excited. Old Goat, Daoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, I'll leave those 8 monsters to you. I'll deal with Hua Xiang personally. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He don't worry. I've even eaten humans before, but I've never eaten zombies. Today I really want to try what these zombies taste like. Old Goat chuckled as he stared at the 8 black god zombies maliciously. How dare they make a move on junior sister gents? These bastards deserve to die. Feng Qingyang said coldly. There's nothing to say. Kill these bastards. Daoist Wuliang sneered and took the initiative to attack. Rumble. He struck out with his palm, and a blazing divine light rose from the center of his palm. There were mountains and rivers, boundless heaven and earth, and thousands of miles of ocean waves, and they crashed down on the 8 black god zombies. The Old Goat and Feng Qingyang's eyes flickered as they attacked at the same time. Their auras surged, and they all had the battle prowess of the 3rd level of heaven treading. At this moment, they unleashed their full strength, and the terrifying aura enveloped the sky. Kill. After receiving Hua Xiang's order, the 8 black god zombies began to fight against Daoist Wuliang, the Old Goat, and Feng Qingyang with bloodshot eyes. An incomparably fierce battle broke out in the void. However, Ling Xiao and Hua Xiang seemed as if they didn't notice it at all. Their gazes were extremely blazing as they stared at each other. A terrifying aura was accumulating and rising around them, and it seemed as if it would explode at any moment. This is the aura of a heaven realm expert? In a short 3 years, he actually broke through the limit twice and advanced to the heaven realm. Moreover, he has the black god zombies' protection. It seems that this Hua Xiang has indeed obtained a great fortune. Ling Xiao thought to himself as his battle intent burned even more fiercely. He could feel a powerful pressure from Hua Xiang. The current Hua Xiang was somewhat similar to the Tianzi that Ling Xiao had seen before. He was confident, invincible, and seemed to be able to defeat everything. Even in the entire chaotic ancient land, there were probably only a few people who could break through the limit 3 times and form the human venerable, earthly venerable, and heavenly venerable. However, Hua Xiang did it. Long Outyan, don't you have an invincible body? Then let's see whose body is stronger. Hua Xiang said coldly as the aura around him rose to the extreme. As he roared, the terrifying energy in his body seemed to have found an outlet. It turned into a purple fist and blasted towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. Purple divine light surged around Hua Xiang's body, and black death chi permeated the air. The purplish-black light made his face look eerie and majestic. The explosion of pure physical strength caused the void to tremble violently. In an instant, the fist formed was unparalleled and fell towards Ling Xiao's chest. Die. Ling Xiao did not show any mercy and punched towards Hua Ziyang. The golden fist was like a rising sun, blooming with endless light and heat. Crack. The two fists collided and the void shattered. Chaotic qi surged around Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang, concealing their figures. Ling Xiao's body trembled as he felt that Hua Ziyang's body was incomparably sturdy. It was filled with an immortal fluctuation that was not much weaker than his. This is the aura of the zombie clan? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He felt that the black aura around Hua Ziyang was very similar to that of the Haitian zombie. However, the Hua clan was part of the human clan, and Emperor Tian Du was the supreme emperor of the human clan. Could it be that Hua Ziyang had given up the human clan's bloodline and became part of the zombie clan? Ling Xiao retreated. His feet flashed as he executed the secret teleportation technique and shot up into the sky. He then struck his palm towards Hua Ziyang. Hua Ziyang's expression was indifferent as a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. He grabbed at Ling Xiao's arm and kicked out at the same time, causing an explosion in the void. Clang! Ling Xiao's palm turned into a palm knife and collided with Hua Ziyang's claw. Dazzling sparks burst out. At the same time, his other hand clenched into a fist and collided with Hua Ziyang's foot. Hua Ziyang's body was filled with black ripples. That kind of aura was becoming more and more obvious. Obviously, it was the aura of the zombie clan. Hua Ziyang, you actually gave up the human clan's bloodline and became part of the zombie clan? Are you worthy of Emperor Tian Du? Ling Xiao sneered as his eyes were filled with disdain. The Hua clan was the emperor clan of the human clan. Emperor Tian Du was one of the 9 emperors of the human clan, which allowed the Hua clan to enjoy endless glory. Although some of the younger generation of the Hua clan were unfilial, the people were very tolerant of the Hua clan for the sake of Emperor Tian Du now. Seeing that Hua Ziyang had given up the human clan's bloodline, Ling Xiao was furious. What nonsense are you talking about? I just cultivated the divine sense of the zombie clan. This is the body of generals and ministers of the zombie clan, not the bloodline of the zombie clan. Don't try to frame me. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Hua Ziyang's expression changed as he retorted coldly. Body of generals and ministers? Very well, I'd like to see how strong your body of generals and ministers is. Chapter 2196. Roar! A dragon's roar erupted from Ling Xiao's body. Behind him, a dazzling golden light shone. A golden divine dragon appeared and coiled around him, making him look majestic and mysterious. His blood and qi were boiling like the sea. It even began to burn fiercely. A terrifying power was awakening. Ling Xiao's body was extremely strong. He had tempered his body with the chaos and cultivated the ancestral dragon secret skill to the 6th level. He had reached the limit of this realm. At this moment, he exerted all his strength to fight with Hua Ziyang. Bang! Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang collided violently. It was like a golden sun and a black sun exploding at the same time, erupting into a terrifying divine light storm. Hua Ziyang soared into the sky. The purple and black light around him was dazzling. It was as if a black hurricane had been set off. Black claws grew out of his fingers. They were sharp and sturdy. They were aimed at Ling Xiao's heart. Ling Xiao's palm chopped down and collided with Hua Ziyang's claw. There was a loud explosion in the air. Hua Ziyang's claw suddenly expanded like a sharp sword out of its sheath. He wanted to pierce Ling Xiao's chest in an instant. Whoosh! Ling Xiao swayed slightly. There seemed to be afterimages in the void. He dodged Hua Ziyang's claws and kicked at Hua Ziyang's head. The power of this kick was extremely terrifying. It could almost destroy this side of the world. Even a mountain could be kicked to dust. Hua Ziyang pushed out his arms. Black scales appeared on his arms. He suddenly collided with Ling Xiao's foot. Bang! Ling Xiao was sent flying by the power that erupted from Hua Ziyang's arm. Hua Ziyang took advantage of the situation and shot out black chains of order towards Ling Xiao's ankles with his ferocious claws. Roar! At the same time, Hua Ziyang let out a terrifying roar. A powerful sound wave suddenly shot towards Ling Xiao's forehead. It was going to pierce his sea of consciousness and shatter his primordial spirit. Get lost! Ling Xiao's eyes shone with an unparalleled sharpness. Golden flames burst forth from his legs. The sky-devouring fire burst forth and enveloped the black divine sequence chains, burning them fiercely. Ling Xiao didn't seem to be affected by the sound wave. He used a teleportation technique and instantly appeared behind Hua Ziyang, punching towards his back. Boom. Hua Ziyang didn't expect that his terrifying zombie roar wouldn't have any effect on Ling Xiao. He hesitated for a moment, and Ling Xiao took the opportunity to appear behind him and punch him, causing him to stagger. Kill. Ling Xiao seized the opportunity and unleashed his dragon power. His fists were like dragons, and each of his fists seemed to have a golden dragon flying across the sky. The sky was filled with fist prints and dragon shadows, and they attacked Hua Ziyang from all directions. Boom. 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 Although Hua Ziyang tried his best to resist, he lost the initiative and suffered a few fist prints on his body. Black death chi spread out, and the black scales on his body shattered. The ribs on his chest were all broken, but he was surrounded by a deathly aura. The mysterious power of law flowed and healed his injuries at a speed visible to the naked eye. What a powerful Jiangchen body! Ling Xiao's heart trembled. Hua Ziyang's body was indeed extremely strong. It wasn't much weaker than Ling Xiao's body. The most important thing was that the Jiangchen body had the ability to heal quickly. It was as if he could recover instantly even if he was torn to pieces. This was something that Ling Xiao couldn't compare with. At least, he couldn't recover so quickly after suffering a fatal injury. Moreover, Hua Ziyang had the bloodline of the monarchs, and he had the supreme talent of the Chinese. He was invulnerable and could resist the attack of the divine principle. Hua Ziyang's invulnerability talent seemed to have merged with the Jiangchen body. It made his every move immeasurably powerful, and he was immune to most of the divine principle attacks. Hua Ziyang's physical strength was already incomparably monstrous. He was many times stronger than when Ling Xiao first met him. Boom. 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 The void shook violently as Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang engaged in a fierce battle. Like a divine dragon traversing the 9 heavens, like a ferocious tiger roaring in the forest. Every strike was like a volcanic eruption, causing the heaven and earth to shake and the sun and moon to lose their light. Endless divine light gushed out, dyeing the sky red. The terrifying waves shocked the people watching the battle on the sky-burying coffin, and their faces turned pale. It's too terrifying. Is this a battle between peerless geniuses? I feel that both of them have the power to kill a saint. Are experts in the 3rd level of heaven treading really so terrifying? I'm afraid they're not ordinary experts in the 3rd level of heaven treading. They've at least reached the earth realm, or even the 3rd heaven realm. Who will win this battle? Hua Ziyang has a higher chance of winning, right? That's right. After all, Hua Ziyang has the bloodline of a monarch race. Now it seems that he has obtained the fortune and opportunity of the zombie race. Long Outyin is still a little weak. Everyone watched the battle between Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang as they discussed and speculated in low voices. At this moment, the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang were also engaged in a fierce battle with the 8 black god zombies. The 8 black god zombies were all fearless. Each of them had a murderous aura, and their attacks were incomparably fierce. Moreover, their claws were stained with poison, which posed a great threat to Jin Se. However, the old goat had the sky-devouring secret technique, which could devour everything in the world. He could even devour the zombie poison directly, which was a natural counter to the black god zombies. Taoist Wuliang was even more proficient in Tao techniques and formations. Borrowing the power of heaven and earth, he could erupt with great destructive power with every move. Feng Qingyang cultivated the yin-yang secret technique, and was especially proficient in the yang scroll. He could control the sacred fire of the sun, and his momentum was monstrous. Under the joint attack of the 3 of them, the 8 black god zombies were not only unable to form a battle formation, but were also faintly at a disadvantage. However, the 8 black god zombies' combat strength was incomparably terrifying. Moreover, they were not afraid of death. It would not be easy for the 3 of them to defeat them in a short period of time. Jiangchen Celestial Slain Technique. Black murderous aura emanated from Hua Ziyang's eyes as he suddenly roared. Boom. Black light surged around Hua Ziyang's body. In an instant, 2 huge wings appeared on his back. Fangs grew out of his mouth, and the claws on his hands turned pure gold. His eyes were dignified and mysterious, and his aura violently rose. Like a shadow, he instantly charged towards Ling Xiao. Just as he was about to reach Ling Xiao, his body suddenly became illusory. Like a black blade light, he directly slashed towards Ling Xiao's head. Chapter 2197. Boom. Hua Xiang's body exuded an ancient and oppressive aura. He transformed into Jiangchen's true form with a pair of wings on his back, fangs in his mouth, and sharp claws that tore through the sky. He had evolved a ferocious supreme blade technique. Jiangchen was one of the ancestors of the zombies, and was known as the Great Zombie Emperor of the ancient times. He was terrifyingly strong, and possessed an invincible physical body. According to the legends, he was capable of withstanding imperial weapons. He was immortal, and even if the heavens and earth were destroyed, he would not be destroyed. He was one of the strongest experts in the ancient times. Although Hua Xiang hadn't reached Jiangchen's level, he had obtained Jiangchen's body by chance. At this moment, he unleashed his full power and used Jiangchen's innate ability, the Celestial Slayer technique, in an attempt to kill Ling Xiao once and for all. The black blade light contained the endless power of the universe. It was so terrifying that even Ling Xiao felt a chill run down his spine, as if he couldn't resist it. Kill. Ling Xiao's eyes blazed with divine light as his battle intent boiled. He roared. An endless divine light erupted from his body. It was as if he was witnessing the terrifying scene of the destruction of all things, and the shattering of the heavens. Above his head, the Yen Emperor Cauldron, the Seven Slaughter Blade, the Army Destroyer Spear, and the Sword of Greedy Wolf appeared at the same time. Ling Xiao evolved the Battle Heavenly Art, sweeping across with an invincible aura. Rumble. The ultimate confrontation between the Jiangchen Heavenly Slayer technique and the Battle Heavenly Art shook the surrounding sky violently, as if it would shatter at any moment. In the void, sword energy rose, and blade light filled the air. Beams of divine light traversed the heavens and the earth, forming a violent storm that drowned Ling Xiao and Hua Xiang's figures. This is the Battle Heavenly Art of the War God Temple? Someone exclaimed in surprise. Although the Battle Heavenly Art was ranked last among the 12 heavenly arts, no one dared to underestimate it. It was also known as the #1 secret combat technique in the heavens. It contained endless battle intent, and could sublimate the strongest power, capable of tearing the heavens and splitting the earth. It was omnipotent, especially when Ling Xiao evolved the Battle Heavenly Art with the 4 imperial weapons. The supreme power was as if an ancient emperor had been reborn. Every move of his contained unfathomable heavenly might. How terrifying. So this is the combat strength of the 3rd level of heaven treading? This isn't something an ordinary person can contend against. Everyone's bodies were shaking. This was a type of throbbing that came from the depths of their primordial spirits. They couldn't help but tremble all over. Even the battle between the old goat, Daoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, and the 8 black god zombies was completely overshadowed by the battle between Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang, looking forward to the final result of this battle. At this moment, no one could guess who was stronger or weaker. Moreover, they had all benefited greatly from this battle. It was as if they had seen the path to a breakthrough. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Xiao and Hua Xiang engaged in a great battle and clash. This was a clash of extreme physical bodies, a clash between the physique of a general and an official and the physique of a divine dragon. The power of the Celestial Slain technique and the Battle Heavenly technique were used. The two of them fought with true fire, causing the heavens and earth to tremble and the sun and moon to dim. The lake around the sky-burying treasure coffin exploded with a loud bang. Streams of mist filled the air and intertwined with endless chaotic mist. It was as if everything had turned into the most original existence. If it wasn't for the sky-burying treasure coffin being incomparably mysterious and the natural laws of the great Tao around it, it might have been destroyed in the battle between Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang. Roar. A dragon's roar soared into the sky. A 10,000 zhang-long divine dragon floated in the void, exuding a peerless ferocious aura as it charged towards Hua Ziyang. Roar. Hua Ziyang's physique of a general and an official had completely erupted. His physique was incomparably tough, and he wasn't afraid of any attacks. At the same time, he grabbed the 10,000 zhang-long divine dragon with both hands, wanting to tear it into pieces. The chaotic mist shattered, forming a mysterious world around Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang. Ling Xiao swept across the sky and instantly, all the stars exploded. Flames surged out and covered the sky, enveloping Hua Ziyang. Hua Ziyang opened his mouth wide and swallowed all the flames in the sky. At the same time, his sharp claws turned into streaks of divine light, shooting towards Ling Xiao's vital points. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang fought for more than 100 rounds, but it seemed like there was no clear winner. Both of them had pushed their physiques to the extreme. Every time they collided, it was as if the sky was falling and the earth was shattering. The terrifying waves of energy swept out, causing everyone's breathing to quicken. They felt an incomparable pressure, and their faces turned pale as they hurriedly retreated. Rumble. Another violent collision occurred. It was as if two suns had exploded. Endless flames surged from all directions, turning the sky into a sea of fire. Accompanied by a muffled groan, a black figure flew out from the endless sea of fire. A golden fist mark appeared on Hua Ziyang's chest, causing his chest to cave in. He coughed out a mouthful of blood. Ling Xiao also rushed out from the sea of fire. Although his face was a little pale, as if he had lost all his strength, his eyes were incomparably bright and sharp. Prince Ziyang actually lost? Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The Jiangchen Constitution is the supreme constitution of the zombie tribe. It is the supreme technique of the physical sanctification. Even so, Prince Ziyang still can't defeat Long Outyin? Long Outyin is too powerful. Everyone could not accept that the outcome of the battle had been decided so quickly. At the same time, everyone looked at Ling Xiao in awe and respect. Long Outyin, I didn't expect you to cultivate your physique to such a level. I'm afraid your physique is not far from the physical sanctification realm. However, you can't change the outcome of today's battle. Now that the warm-up is over, I'm going to use my full strength. Hua Ziyang stared coldly at Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with undisguised killing intent. Is that so? I also want to see if the Sky Pride of the Chinese can still use the secret skills of the Chinese. I'm afraid you have forgotten all of them. If Emperor Tiandu was still alive, I'm afraid he would slap you to death, you unfilial descendant. Ling Xiao said calmly. You have a sharp tongue. However, no matter what, you can't change the outcome of your defeat. Didn't you want to see the skills of the Chinese? Very well, I'll fulfill your wish today. Hua Ziyang's eyes turned cold, and streaks of purple lightning shot out from his eyes. He slowly walked towards Ling Xiao, and his body began to explode with purple lightning. Gotcha. Heaven and earth trembled, and the purple lightning was scorching and terrifying. A mysterious lightning world formed behind Hua Ziyang, and endless mysterious scenes appeared. Heaven's gate opens, purple firmament destroys the world. Hua Ziyang said slowly, and in an instant, lightning flashed and thunder roared in all directions. Chapter 2198. Rumble. An ancient and mysterious door appeared behind Hua Ziyang. It was intertwined with Tao and truth. The light of the Dharma was dazzling. Bolts of lightning shot out from the door, turning the world purple. Bolts of purple lightning that resembled divine dragons gushed out from the ancient portal, and pressed down on Ling Xiao from all directions. Hua Ziyang stood tall in the sky, his entire body shrouded in purple clouds. He looked mysterious and majestic, like an ancient great emperor. His aura was monstrous. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could also sense an endless destructive force from the purple thunderbolts. This was the origin of the purple heavenly thunder. It could split the world apart and destroy it. Even a sage would not be able to withstand it. However, Ling Xiao's expression was calm. Bolts of lightning appeared in his palm. In the end, his body shone brightly, forming a mysterious resonance with the world. Wang. A blazing beam of light shot out from between Ling Xiao's brows, and a vertical eye appeared. In that instant, the heavens and earth shook, and the sun and moon lost their light. Endless blazing lightning gathered around Ling Xiao. Break! Ling Xiao roared. His voice was like the majesty of the heavens, containing an unfathomable majesty. Bolts of lightning raged in the sky. The vertical eye between Ling Xiao's eyebrows was like the eye of the heavens. It was the origin of all lightning. In an instant, it turned into a vast devouring vortex. Rumble! Before the purple heavenly thunder from Huaxiang could reach Ling Xiao, it was devoured by the vertical eye between his eyebrows. This is the heaven's punishment secret skill? Huaxiang's body shook. His eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. The heaven's punishment secret skill was the supreme offensive skill of the 9 imperial gates. It was extremely powerful and terrifying. It was said that in the entire 9 imperial gates, only the emperor could perform the complete heaven's punishment secret skill. But how could Ling Xiao know the heaven's punishment secret skill? Boom! Before Huaxiang could think clearly, he saw an even brighter light gathering between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. In an instant, it turned into a 9-colored beam of light and shot towards Huaxiang. That 9-colored light beam contained 9 types of thunder origins. When they intertwined, it caused the void to change and the sun and moon to shake. It was even more terrifying than Huaxiang's purple heaven godly thunder. Is this the legendary heaven's punishment secret skill? This Long Outyin is a minor war god from the War God Temple. Isn't the War God Temple and the 9 imperial obelisk mortal enemies? How does he know the heaven's punishment secret technique? What do you think will happen if the emperor finds out that Long Outyin has the heavenly punishment secret skill? Hee, how is it? The heavenly prince is so domineering. He will definitely kill Long Outyin and take back the heavenly punishment secret skill. When the crowd saw Ling Xiao execute the heaven's punishment secret skill, they were all extremely shocked as they discussed with different expressions. Boom! In the face of Ling Xiao's heaven's punishment secret skill, the blood qi around Huaxiang exploded. A purple divine sun rose behind him, containing a vast and mysterious aura of the great Tao. In the purple divine sun, a blazing saber light rose. In an instant, it turned into a huge saber aura and slashed towards Ling Xiao. Is it the heavenly Tao blood saber again? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he muttered to himself. He had long coveted Huaxiang's heavenly Tao blood saber. The heavenly Tao blood saber contained some kind of karmic power. It was unparalleled in killing and had no regrets. It would definitely kill and drink the blood of the enemy. It was extremely strange. Boom! The 9-colored bolt of lightning collided with the purple blood blade, exploding with scorching divine light. The bolts of lightning all mysteriously dissipated. The heavenly Tao blood saber seemed to have silently devoured the 9-colored lightning. Then, it slashed towards Ling Xiao with an even more terrifying might. Huaxiang, hand over the cultivation technique of the heavenly Tao blood saber, and I can spare your life. Haha! Ling Xiao laughed loudly. His eyes were extremely sharp and his attacks were even more terrifying. He put his palms together and rays of reincarnation divine light burst out. An ancient and mysterious world vaguely appeared. Boom! The heavenly Tao blood saber slashed into that world, stirring up boundless wind and clouds. Ling Xiao's body exuded mysterious fluctuations of fate. He slammed his palms forward and the world collapsed. Even the heavenly Tao blood saber was destroyed. However, the heavenly Tao blood saber's light was too sharp. Bloody wounds appeared on Ling Xiao's hands. Golden blood dripped down, causing the void to tremble. Long Outyin, you dare to covet the heavenly Tao blood saber? You're courting death. Huaxiang was immediately enraged. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Rumble! Blazing saber light soared into the sky, filling the sky with afterimages. A vast emperor's aura emerged from it. Vaguely, there seemed to be a great emperor's phantom in the void. It held an astral saber and slashed towards Ling Xiao. Purple divine light rose and intertwined. The purple astral saber was like the incarnation of the heavenly Tao. It slashed across the sky and destroyed everything. It was extremely domineering. When the heavenly Tao blood saber attacked, it had to kill. Although Ling Xiao had destroyed the heavenly Tao blood saber earlier, the heavenly Tao blood saber contained the power of karma. It appeared again, and its aura was even more terrifying. Kill! Ling Xiao's blood and qi surged. He formed an invincible fist seal and chaotic qi spread out. His fist light was extremely domineering as it met the heavenly Tao blood saber. Clang! 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 In the void, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Sparks flew everywhere. The saber light and fist light shattered at the same time, creating a terrifying storm. Both of Ling Xiao's fists were badly mangled. His golden bones creaked. Every time they collided with the heavenly Dao blood saber, large pieces of flesh would fly out. Ling Xiao's eyes were blazing. His battle intent soared. It was as if he didn't notice his injuries at all. He continued to clash with the heavenly Dao blood saber. Mysterious energy from the heavenly Dao blood saber flowed through Ling Xiao's arms and into his body. Sensing the mysterious energy, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness shone brightly. It kept devouring that energy, and gradually, the aura of karma appeared. Kill. Hua Ziyang's eyes were cruel. After the heavenly Dao blood saber devoured Ling Xiao's flesh and blood, it became even sharper. The saber light seemed to have condensed into a solid form. It was like a purple ancient divine saber that was devouring Ling Xiao's flesh and blood. Rumble. Hua Ziyang's body was surrounded by purple light. In an instant, dozens of black shadows appeared. They all had wings on their backs and sharp fangs in their mouths. They screeched and charged towards Ling Xiao. Chapter 2199. Go to hell. Hua Ziyang's eyes flashed with a hint of satisfaction. The Heaven's Path purple blood saber in his hand flew towards Ling Xiao's forehead. His attack was incomparably ruthless, wanting to kill Ling Xiao directly. The Heaven's Path purple blood saber was extremely fast, not giving Ling Xiao any time to react. Pooh! Ling Xiao seemed to have really been bound by Hua Ziyang, and there was no way for him to resist. The Heaven's Path purple blood saber pierced through his forehead, and blood spurted out in an instant. This time, even if the primeval emperor comes back to life, he won't be able to save you. Hua Ziyang's eyes were filled with incomparable ruthlessness, and his killing intent was blazing. His hatred for Ling Xiao had reached the extreme. The Heaven's Path purple blood saber could devour all life. After piercing through the forehead, it would definitely devour the primordial spirit and destroy all existence. Hua Ziyang believed that Ling Xiao was definitely going to die this time. Is that so? Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent and calm, as though he wasn't surprised at all. His eyes were incomparably bright as he stared at Hua Ziyang. Hua Ziyang's expression changed, and he suddenly felt an incomparable sense of danger. He discovered that the Heaven's Path purple blood saber that had pierced through Ling Xiao's forehead was no longer flowing out. Instead, the Heaven's Path purple blood saber had actually disappeared into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Boom! The violent energy around Ling Xiao exploded, and his fist landed on Hua Ziyang's chest. Kacha! Hua Ziyang's body trembled violently, and his chest caved in. His ribs were all broken, and he spat out mouthfuls of blood. His entire body was sent flying. What? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim in shock, and they were all stunned. Hua Ziyang's Heaven's Path purple blood saber was too vicious, to the point that everyone thought that Ling Xiao was definitely going to die. But they didn't expect such a huge reversal. The Heaven's Path purple blood saber had mysteriously disappeared, and Ling Xiao's strength was not affected at all. He unleashed a shocking blow towards Hua Ziyang. This punch contained all the strength in Ling Xiao's body, causing Hua Ziyang to suffer heavy injuries. How is this possible? How did you block the Heaven's Path purple blood saber? Hua Ziyang's eyes were filled with disbelief, and his face was extremely ugly. The blood violet blade was capable of devouring blood and all life. As he saw it, now that the blood violet blade had entered Ling Xiao's yuan spirit, Ling Xiao was dead for sure. The heavenly Dao blood violet blade is indeed very powerful. Hua Ziyang, if you hand over the cultivation method of the heavenly blood violet blade to me right now, I'll leave your corpse intact. How about it? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Qi and blood rose around him, and the dragon's roar shook the sky. Golden divine light shrouded his body, making him look unstoppable, like an undefeatable god of war. When Hua Ziyang had stabbed out with the sky blood purple blade, Ling Xiao had not blocked it. He had allowed it to enter his knowledge sea, and then activated the wordless heaven book to devour it completely. As expected, after the wordless heaven book had devoured the heavenly Dao blood violet blade, it had extracted a portion of the secret art of karma, making his secret art of karma complete. Ling Xiao was excited. If he could obtain the cultivation method of the heavenly Tao Blood Violet Blade, not only would he obtain this supreme monarch art, but he would also be able to extract the secret art of karma from it, making his secret art of karma complete. The heavenly Tao Blood Violet Blade itself was derived from the secret art of karma, and it contained the true meaning of the secret art of karma. Long out Yin, if you want the heavenly Tao Blood Violet Blade, you'll have to defeat me first. Today either you die or I die. Hua Ziyang roared, and a beast-like roar came from his mouth. Black death chi flowed around him, and he instantly transformed into his Jiangchen form, charging towards Ling Xiao. Boom! His enormous wings covered the sky, and they were incomparably sharp. They were like swords, stabbing towards Ling Xiao's vital points. At the same time, black divine light surged around Hua Ziyang's body, causing his aura to skyrocket. The sharp fangs in his mouth flashed with cold light, and he bit towards Ling Xiao's neck. He hated Ling Xiao to the extreme, and at the same time, he was extremely shocked. He had obtained a great opportunity this time, and he thought that even if he met Ling Xiao, he would be able to kill him and avenge the humiliation he had suffered. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao's strength to be so terrifying. Every move he made had the power to destroy the world. Not only was his Jiangchen form inferior to Ling Xiao's, but even the heavenly Tao Blood Violet Blade was suppressed by Ling Xiao once again. Boom! Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang clashed fiercely in the sky. Every time they clashed, it was as if a volcano was erupting, and the world was collapsing. On the other side, the old goat, Daoist Wu Liang, and Feng Qingyang were fighting against the 8 Stygian zombies. Although the 8 Stygian zombies were powerful and fearless, and their bodies were invulnerable, after a long battle, the old goat and the other 2 had found their weakness. The Stygian zombies were most afraid of the power of the extreme yang. The old goat used the devouring fire to seal their perception of the world around them. At the same time, Daoist Wu Liang controlled the sword formation, and Feng Qingyang summoned the sacred sun fire to surround and kill the 8 Stygian zombies. Without Hua Ziyang's command, and the old goat and the other 2 did not fall into their battle formation, the 8 Stygian zombies quickly fell into a disadvantageous position, and casualties began to appear. Boom! A Stygian zombie was engulfed by the devouring fire, and was cut into several pieces by Daoist Wu Liang's sword formation. It was completely burned to ashes. Roar! 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 The other Stygian zombies were also shocked and angry. They began to roar, and fearlessly attacked the old goat and the other 2, without any regard for their own casualties. However, there was still a gap in strength between them and the old goat and the other 2. Therefore, after the first casualty, the next 7 Stygian zombies all died in the hands of the old goat and the other 2. In the void, the black light of death surged violently, and a murderous aura rose. The 8 Stygian zombies at the 3rd stage of the heaven-treading realm all died just like that. The old goat and the other 2 also gave it their all and unleashed their strongest battle strength. After the 8 black god zombies were killed, the 3 of them also exhausted their cultivation. In the end, only Hua Ziyang was left. Could it be that this kid Hua Ziyang has really joined the zombie clan? The old goat asked curiously. It's hard to say. However, to be able to have 8 Stygian zombies as subordinates, Hua Ziyang must have obtained an extraordinary opportunity. It might be the inheritance of some mighty figure of the zombie clan. Chapter 2200. Any one of the 8 black god zombies was as strong as an ancient prodigy. That was why Jin Se was injured when she fought with them. Old Goat and the other 2 killed all the black god zombies in the end, but they also paid a heavy price. They naturally suspected that Hua Ziyang had something to do with the zombies, especially since Hua Ziyang had the body of generals and ministers. This wasn't an ordinary opportunity or fortune. Rumble. Up in the air, Ling Xiao and Hua Ziyang were fighting with all their might. Every time they collided, the power of their attacks was terrifying. It was as if they could destroy everything. If it wasn't for the sky-burying coffin, which formed its own law and made the void extremely firm, everything within a radius of 10,000 miles would be completely destroyed. Asterisk buzz. Asterisk divine light surged around Hua Ziyang, and 3 great Tao immortal flowers appeared above his head. Each flower was shrouded in chaotic mist, and there seemed to be 3 little people sitting cross-legged in it. Huaxiang's aura suddenly skyrocketed. One could vaguely see that the 3 little people were each holding a small sword, and they revealed an extremely dangerous aura. This is the heaven realm?" someone exclaimed, and his voice trembled unconsciously. Huaxiang condensed 3 great Tao immortal flowers, which meant that he had broken the limit 3 times, and become a legendary heaven realm expert. One should know that in the entire chaotic ancient land, the number of people who could become heaven realm experts could be counted on one hand. In the entire human race, only Tianzi was able to do so. Huaxiang is a heaven realm expert? How did he do it? I heard that among the 3 realms of heaven treading, the human realm and the earth realm are slightly easier, but the heaven realm is extremely difficult because it represents the realm of perfection. Now we call it the 3 realms of heaven treading, but in ancient times, it was called the 12th layer of the half-saint realm. I've also heard that the 12th layer of the half-saint realm is the peak of the half-saint realm. After proving one's Tao, one will become an invincible saint and can sweep across the saint realm. It seems that Huaxiang has been pushed to the limit by Long Outyin, so he's starting to use all his strength. Everyone was excited. Being able to witness a battle between 2 peerless geniuses was definitely a great benefit for them. After the 3 great Tao immortal flowers appeared above Huaxiang's head, his aura became incomparably violent, making Ling Xiao feel an intense threat. The grand Tao celestial flowers swayed in the wind. The petals were sparkling and translucent, emitting a fragrance. Huaxiang's body emitted a holy light. He actually had a kind of impenetrable aura. Human slaughter. Huaxiang's eyes were cold as he shouted. In an instant, the celestial flower of the great path that was sitting cross-legged on the human sovereign's body shone with boundless light. The small sword in the human sovereign's hand also flew up into the sky and slashed down towards Ling Xiao like a beam of celestial light. Rumble. The small sword looked extremely light, but when it reached the top of Ling Xiao's head, it expanded to tens of thousands of feet long and came crashing down. Flip sky seal break. A terrifying aura rose around Ling Xiao, and the flipping sky seal flew out from between his eyebrows. It emitted infinite divine light and collided with the small sword. Buzz. The small sword buzzed, and in the next moment, the sword radiance shattered. The small sword flew out and floated in front of Huaxiang again. Earth slaughter. Huaxiang's expression remained the same as he roared once again. The small sword in the second celestial flower of the great path also flew out and merged with the first small sword. Its power increased sharply, and it continued to slash towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. Under Ling Xiao's control, the flipping sky seal collided with the second small sword, creating an endless divine light storm. In the end, the flipping sky seal and the small sword flew out at the same time. Heaven slaughter. Reincarnation slash. Murderous intent flashed in Huaxiang's eyes as he shouted again. Rumble. At this moment, the 3 great Tao immortal flowers shone brightly at the same time. The sword radiance in the 3 celestial flower of the great path soared into the sky and turned into an ancient sword in the void. Huaxiang held the ancient sword in his hand, and his aura was extremely terrifying. As he slashed down, the mysterious aura of life and death filled the air. The sword seemed to want to send Ling Xiao directly into the reincarnation cycle. It was extremely domineering. When Ling Xiao saw the sword, a strange look appeared in his eyes. Rumble. He clasped his hands together, and his fingers were as clear as jade. His speed was extremely fast, and his movements were ingenious. He caught the sword directly between his palms. An aura of reincarnation spread out. With Ling Xiao's palms as the center, an ancient and mysterious world vaguely appeared and enveloped Huaxiang. The fierce aura of Huaxiang's sword instantly disappeared without a trace. Huaxiang was stunned. He pointed at Ling Xiao and said, You, how can you know the secret skill of reincarnation? His reincarnation triple kill was based on the cultivation of the heaven realm, and combined with the power of the human master, earthly master, and celestial master to explode with terrifying killing power. This move could kill a sage. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to know the secret skill of reincarnation from the Samsara temple, and completely destroy his reincarnation triple kill. Thinking about it carefully, Ling Xiao knew the heaven fighting secret skill, heaven's punishment secret skill, and the secret skill of reincarnation. These 3 heavenly skills were all in Ling Xiao's hands. Why can't I know the secret skill of reincarnation? However, although your reincarnation triple kill is based on the secret skill of reincarnation, isn't it a little too flawed? Ling Xiao sneered. Sharp radiance shot out from his palms, and he slammed his palm towards Hua Ziyang. It contained an energy fluctuation that could destroy everything. Rumble. Hua Ziyang's body trembled violently. He was caught off guard and was sent flying by Ling Xiao's attack. In the void, endless divine light gushed out. After Ling Xiao succeeded in his attack, he did not stop. His attacks were like a violent storm, and the sky was filled with blazing palm prints and fist radiance. They continuously bombarded Hua Ziyang's body. Puff. Although Hua Ziyang's physical body was strong and his strength was extraordinary, he was unable to withstand Ling Xiao's terrifying attacks. In addition, Ling Xiao used the heaven-devouring secret skill to continuously devour Hua Ziyang's cultivation. As a result, Hua Ziyang's strength was getting weaker and weaker. He kept coughing out blood, and his breathing became chaotic. His face was pale and filled with fear. Is Hua Ziyang going to lose? Everyone could not help but tremble. They felt that the outcome of this battle was finally going to be decided. Rumble. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a dazzling light as he slammed his fist down. The light of the primal chaos exploded, and the heavens and earth were destroyed. The light of the sun and moon dimmed, and the boundless fist imprint instantly drowned Hua Ziyang. Chapter 2201. Hua Ziyang's body of generals and ministers had already reached its limit. It was as though he was unable to withstand Ling Xiao's domineering punch. His entire body trembled violently before exploding. Boom. In the void, black divine light bloomed and turned into a terrifying storm. Following Hua Ziyang's roars and screams, his body completely disintegrated. Black blood filled the air and revealed an extremely strange aura. It was extremely tragic. Ling Xiao stood in the sky, his body surrounded by a dazzling golden glow. His eyes were like swords, and his entire body exuded a vast aura. This scene completely shocked everyone. Hua Ziyang was so powerful and terrifying, but he was killed by Ling Xiao in such a tragic manner. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao in awe and veneration. Prince Ziyang is a supreme genius of the Chinese. He died in the hands of Long Outyin just like that. That's too terrifying. Long Outyin has formed a deadly feud with the Chinese. I'm afraid the Chinese won't let him off when the chosen one ends. I think Long Outyin can be considered as the strongest person below the Heavenly Prince. His combat strength is truly admirable. I'm also starting to think highly of Long Outyin. If he doesn't die, his name will definitely shake the heavens. Everyone was discussing in low voices. Haha. I knew that bastard Hua Ziyang would definitely die. Ling Xiao is getting more and more perverted. He only broke the limit once, and with the cultivation of a human venerable, he can actually kill a heavenly venerable? This guy is going to ascend to the heavens. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang secretly clicked their tongues. Their eyes were filled with excitement, and their hearts that were hanging in the air also calmed down. Feng Qingyang stared at Ling Xiao with burning eyes. He was unwilling to admit defeat, but after thinking about it, he smiled bitterly and shook his head. Although he had become Ling Xiao's follower, he was unwilling to admit defeat. However, at this moment he had to admit that the gap between him and Ling Xiao was getting bigger and bigger. Ling Xiao, is he that Ling Xiao? There was a trace of confusion in Jin Sei's eyes. The Ling Xiao in front of her, and the figure in the depths of her memories were becoming more and more similar. They were even beginning to overlap. She cultivated the way of the great oblivion, so her state of mind was as tranquil as an ancient well. Nothing could affect her emotions. However, after seeing Ling Xiao, for some reason, her heart was in a mess. At this moment, Ling Xiao floated in the air. There was no trace of joy on his face as he frowned slightly. He didn't know why, but he felt that Hua Ziyang was still a little weak. He was not as strong as he had imagined. At most, he was equivalent to an Earth Realm expert. Moreover, as a talent of the Chinese, he didn't even have a powerful emperor's possession. This feeling was incomparably strange. His primordial spirit doesn't seem to be complete. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. He seemed to have thought of something and his heart skipped a beat. What no one noticed was that after Hua Ziyang was killed by Ling Xiao, the blood mist that filled the sky was silently absorbed by the sky-burying treasure coffin. Black runes began to intertwine on the sky-burying treasure coffin. Streaks of light were enshrouding the coffin, faintly forming a mysterious figure. Rumble. Suddenly, the sky-burying treasure coffin shook violently as if there were endless lightning roaring. The surrounding void shook and endless divine light gushed out from the sky-burying treasure coffin. A crack actually slowly appeared on the huge lid of the heaven-burying coffin. It was like the sky had split open. Blazing light gushed out from the crack, roaring like a hurricane. It emitted an ancient, dignified, and mysterious aura. "Who is that?" someone exclaimed. His face was extremely pale and his heart was pounding. It was the first time they had seen such a change in the sky-burying treasure coffin. When the lid opened, it was as if some kind of ancient ferocious beast was about to crawl out. The aura was so terrifying that everyone couldn't help but tremble and retreat. Roar. A roar like an ancient ferocious beast came from the sky-burying treasure coffin, shaking the sky. A terrifying hurricane erupted, and a figure slowly emerged from the sky-burying treasure coffin. The figure was a young man. He was slender and handsome with a pair of wings on his back and fangs in his mouth. The fangs shone with golden light as if they were made of pure gold. At this moment, his eyes were closed as if he had been sealed. His entire body exuded an ancient aura. He was majestic and mysterious, like an ancient emperor. People couldn't help but worship him. Hua Ziyang. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he spat out a few words. He realized that the young man's face was exactly the same as Hua Ziyang's. However, he looked more majestic and mysterious than Hua Ziyang. His aura was also completely different. Ling Xiao's heart was unsettled. Hua Ziyang had already been killed by him. But who was this person who looked exactly like Hua Ziyang in the sky-burying treasure coffin? Kacha. The young man's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. It was as if the sky and earth were being split open. Two rays of dazzling divine light pierced through the sky, containing a power that could annihilate everything. Anyone who met the young man's gaze felt their eyes rise as if they had been attacked. Traces of blood flowed out of their eyes as they screamed in pain. Rumble. The young man took a big gulp. Suddenly, a terrifying storm was set off in the void. His mouth was like a huge devouring vortex, swallowing all the origin energy around him. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled around him. Endless divine light rose and the vast principle of Great Way descended. It was as if heaven and earth were shaking at the same time, making the young man's aura more majestic and ancient. Finally, his eyes fell on Ling Xiao. He said indifferently, "I can be born in advance thanks to you for killing my cauldron. However, you killed 8 people of my zombie tribe, so your merits offset your faults. I won't hold you accountable." "Who are you?" Ling Xiao asked indifferently. He could feel that the young man in front of him made him feel a great threat. This young man's strength was far beyond Hua Ziyang's. "I'm the Heavenly Corpse Emperor's son," the young man said indifferently, with a kind of arrogant attitude. His attitude towards Ling Xiao was incomparably arrogant, like an ant overlooking a divine dragon. However, he completely ignored the others, as if he didn't give them the slightest face. Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince? Ling Xiao's heart trembled. Although the name was unfamiliar, the Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince had rushed out of the sky-burying treasure coffin. In addition, the title of Emperor Prince was not something that could be used casually. One's ancestor must be at the level of a great emperor, and possess the bloodline of a great emperor. Ling Xiao didn't expect that the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Hua Ziyang, who he had set his eyes on, had already become the cauldron of the Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince. Chapter 2202. Whether you are Long Outyan or Ling Xiao, you are not worth mentioning to me. You and I have no grudge against each other, so I will not attack you today. However, the position of the Chosen One will belong to me, and I will kill anyone who dares to stop me. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince said coldly. His voice was full of killing intent, as if it contained a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. I have a grudge against Hua Ziyang, but I have no grudge against you. Now that Hua Ziyang is dead, I have no grudge against him. As long as you don't provoke me, I will not attack you. Ling Xiao said lightly. He instinctively disliked the zombie clan, but the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince in front of him did not show any hostility, so he did not intend to fight with the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince. He was now thinking, could it be that there was an expert of the zombie clan buried in the sky-burying coffin? Although the sky-burying coffin had only opened a small gap, Ling Xiao vaguely felt that there seemed to be a mysterious world hidden in the sky-burying coffin, which made him extremely shocked. He vaguely felt that the sky-burying coffin contained an extremely shocking secret. Attack me? What a joke. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't want to kill you, you would already be a dead man. I hope you know what to do. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince looked coldly at Ling Xiao, then directly rose into the sky, turned into a black divine rainbow, and instantly disappeared into the horizon. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He could feel that the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince was very hostile to him, but the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince left in a hurry, as if he had something important to do. Ling Xiao, are you okay? Jin Se was a little hesitant, but she still walked up to Ling Xiao and asked lightly. I'm fine. Jin Se, it's so good to see you again. Ling Xiao's face showed an extremely bright smile, and he was sincerely happy. Although Jin Se still did not remember him, and although Jin Se treated him like a stranger, Ling Xiao had enough patience to wait for her to remember everything. I seem to have seen you before. Jin Se said slowly. What? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and he suddenly raised his head, his eyes full of inexplicable surprise. I made a wish to the sky-burying coffin to recover my lost memories, but I still failed. I once saw your figure in the depths of my memories. Jin Se said indifferently. Jinsi, you thought of me? Do you remember what happened between us? Ling Xiao was pleasantly surprised as he said excitedly. No, I just remember you. Jin Se shook her head. Her expression was still very calm, as if nothing could change her emotions. It's all right. I can wait, gents. I believe that you will definitely regain your lost memories. Ling Xiao said seriously. His heart was filled with excitement. The fact that Jin Se remembered him gave him endless hope. He was more and more convinced that Jin Se would be able to recover her lost memories. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang were also grinning from ear to ear. They were happy for Ling Xiao. Hua Ziyang was dead. As the supreme talent of the Hua clan, the Hua clan had high hopes for him. Many elders of the Hua clan hoped that he could become the chosen one, sweep away everything and restore the glory of the Hua clan. However, today, Hua Ziyang's primordial spirit token was completely shattered. Among the Hua clan, there were countless experts guarding a bronze divine palace. Many figures with terrifying auras were sitting cross-legged. Their faces were extremely solemn, filled with anger and shock. These were the strongest forces of the Hua clan. The weakest of them was at the sage realm. There were even many great sages among them. Their auras were terrifying, as if they could annihilate everything. At the head of the table was a handsome young man in a purple robe. He was sitting cross-legged on a futon. His eyes were filled with vicissitudes of life, bright and majestic. It was as if countless lives had been annihilated in them. Although everyone in the divine palace was furious, they restrained themselves in front of this young man. Their eyes were filled with respect. This young man in a purple robe was the clan leader of the Hua clan, Hua Yinkong. Hua Ziyang died in the chaotic ancient land. According to the news, he was killed by a brat called Long Outyin. Everyone, speak up if you have any opinions. The young man in a purple robe said calmly. Long Outyin from the War God Temple? They must have a death wish. How dare they kill a prodigy of the Hua clan? Even the chaotic heavenly sect and the Samsara temple wouldn't have the guts to do so. The War God Temple should be destroyed. Many elders of the Hua clan were filled with righteous indignation. Their eyes were blazing with killing intent. Clan leader, I've heard a piece of news recently. Perhaps you'll be interested. Hua Xiong suddenly said with a cold smile. What is it? Hua Yinkong asked calmly. Do you remember 20 years ago when the gate of the God realm was in turmoil? The sacred lands sent people to the lower realm to look for the wordless heavenly book. However, no one returned in the end. Hua Xiong said. Of course. It said that the people sent by the sacred lands died in the hands of a brat called Ling Xiao. The wordless heavenly book is also in Ling Xiao's hands. An elder said slowly. That's right. However, I'm afraid you didn't know that Long Outyin has another name, Ling Xiao. Moreover, he also knows the sky-devouring secret skill, sky-shrouding secret skill, heaven-fighting secret skill, reincarnation secret skill, and karma secret skill. Don't you find it strange? Hua Xiong said with a cold smile. What? His name is Ling Xiao and he knows so many secret skills? Could he be the Ling Xiao from the lower realm? Someone trembled and cried out in alarm. Hua Xiong nodded and said, I think it's most likely. This Ling Xiao is extremely cunning. He changed his name to Long Outyin and joined the combat god temple. However, as he became stronger and more famous, he revealed more of his trump cards. I suspect that the wordless heavenly book is in his hands. If that's the case, then he has to die, an elder said with a murderous look. He killed Hua Xiang, who was in the heaven realm with his human realm cultivation, and knows so many heaven skills and secret skills. He does have some secrets. If the wordless heavenly book is in his hands, I'm afraid we're not the only ones who know about it. The old monsters of the other sacred lands should know about it too, Hua Yinkong said slowly. There were wisps of purple divine light in his eyes. They were extremely sharp. Clan leader, my guess is correct. Whether it's because he killed Hua Xiang or because he has the wordless heavenly book, he has to die. I'll bring my men to the entrance of the chaotic ancient land. Once he appears, we'll take him down immediately, Hua Xiong said coldly. No. This time I'll do it myself. If we can get the wordless heavenly book, we'll be able to dominate the universe again and become the Lord of the Age. Hua Yinkong stood up slowly. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Rumble. The entire divine bronze palace shook violently. The great Tao Law around him shone brightly. The elders looked at him with reverence and fanaticism, as if he was the king of the universe. Chapter 2203. The news of Ling Xiao killing Hua Ziyang in the sky-burying coffin quickly spread across the entire chaotic ancient land. Countless geniuses in the 108 holy cities were shaken. The death of Prince Ziyang of the Hua clan caused Ling Xiao's reputation to soar. At the same time, the undercurrents in the chaotic ancient land became even more turbulent. However, this matter didn't last for long. Soon, another earth-shattering event shook the entire chaotic ancient land. Mysterious words floated above each of the 108 ancient cities. They recorded that the final creation of the chaotic ancient land was about to open. To become the chosen one must first become a guardian of the 108 holy cities. The chosen one would be chosen from the guardians of the 108 holy cities. The time limit was 1 month. The chaos battlefield would open in 1 month and the chosen one would be chosen. Everyone in the primal chaos ancient land was excited. Their eyes were filled with eagerness. They couldn't wait to sweep through the countless geniuses in the primal chaos ancient land and become the chosen one. The originally peaceful primal chaos ancient land was in an uproar. In a short period of time, a few of the guardians of the 108 holy cities were killed and replaced by geniuses. They completely refined the ancient seals and controlled the life and death of the holy cities. Many people discovered during this process that most of the guardians in the holy cities didn't completely control the ancient seals. It was as if someone had deliberately arranged for them to be replaced. This thought made people shudder. They felt as if there was a pair of omniscient and omnipotent eyes in the sky above the chaotic ancient land watching everything. However, under the temptation of the chosen one, more and more people began to participate in the battle. Countless geniuses died almost every day, becoming white bones beneath the feet of the chosen one. At this moment Ling Xiao, Jin Se, and the others had left the sky-burying coffin and arrived at an extremely mysterious region. This place was filled with chaotic mist. It was as ethereal as a sea of clouds. Mountains floated in the sea of clouds, shrouded in steaming auspicious vapors. They flickered with resplendent lights. It looked extremely peaceful. At a closer look, the mountains were glowing with 5-colored light. They contained the power of the 5 elements. They intertwined and flowed with each other, looking perfect. Jinsei, is this the Avalon of 5 elements you mentioned? It looks quite unique. But is there really the elemental spirits of the 5 elements here? The old goat looked at the region in front of him and asked curiously. After leaving the sky-burying coffin, Jinsei had told Ling Xiao and the others about the Avalon of 5 elements. It turned out that after entering the chaotic ancient land, Jinsei had accidentally entered the Avalon of 5 elements and obtained a great opportunity. She even refined an elemental spirit of the 5 elements and broke the limit once. Peak human realm. The elemental spirits of the 5 elemental spirits of the 5 elements. If one could refine the spirit of the 5 elemental spirits of the 5 elemental spirit of the 5 elements of the 5 elemental spirits of the 5 elemental Tao. Of the 5 elemental Tao. 1. However, the 5 elemental primordial spirits were too rare. Even Jinsei had only found one. That's right. This is the Avalon of 5 elements. It nurtures the elemental spirits of the 5 elements. I once refined an elemental spirit of the 5 elements here. There is also a 5 elemental ancient tablet in the center. Only when the moon is full will there be some changes, but I haven't been able to find out anything about it. Jinsei nodded and recounted what she saw and heard in the Avalon of 5 elements. The elemental spirits of the 5 elements were incomparably precious treasures even in ancient times. They were nurtured by the 5 elemental Tao, and were difficult for ordinary people to obtain. However, Jinsei was able to discover the elemental spirits of the 5 elements. This means that this place is not simple. Let's split up and search. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. All right. I also feel that this place is very special. Perhaps it was left behind by an expert. Let's search around. The unscrupulous Taoist said seriously, then gave the old goat a meaningful look. The old goat understood and immediately followed Taoist Wu Yang in another direction. Only Feng Qingyang was still standing there foolishly. The old goat immediately pulled Feng Qingyang over. What are you doing? Old goat, I want to follow junior sister Jinsei and protect her. Feng Qingyang said unwillingly. Follow Jinsei? Don't worry. With Ling Xiao around, nothing will happen to Jinsei. Aren't you afraid of being an eyesore? Let's go. I'll teach you the devouring sky and sun erosion. How about it? The old goat said softly as he slapped the back of Feng Qingyang's head with his hoof. Feng Qingyang was originally furious and was about to explode. However, when he heard the devouring sky and sun erosion mentioned by the old goat, his eyes lit up and he immediately became interested. You're not lying to me? Don't worry. I do things openly and honorably. Why would I lie to you? Then, all right. Feng Qingyang and the old goat said one after another and quickly left the place, leaving Ling Xiao and Jinsei behind. Jinsei, where are we going? Ling Xiao felt a little awkward, but on the surface he acted as if nothing had happened and smiled at Jinsei. Let's go ahead and take a look. I feel that the 5 elements' energy there is very dense. Jinsei said indifferently. She acted as if she did not hear the words of Feng Qingyang and the old goat. Her expression was indifferent as she slowly walked forward. All right, you have the final say. Ling Xiao revealed a brilliant smile and chased after Jinsei. When they arrived at this place, Ling Xiao felt that the wordless heavenly book was acting strangely. Especially in places where the 5 elements' energy was dense, the wordless heavenly book was especially excited. Therefore, Ling Xiao also felt that this place was not simple. There was probably something that the wordless heavenly book was interested in. However, Ling Xiao did not care about that, and allowed Jinsei to lead the way. He enjoyed the time alone with Jinsei, and it made him very happy. As long as he was by Jinsei's side, he would be very happy. Jinsei brought Ling Xiao to a place between 2 mountains. There was a long and narrow valley there, with steep cliffs on both sides. The valley was only wide enough for 2 people to walk side by side. But at this moment, the valley was filled with clouds and mist, and the silence was somewhat frightening. No one knew where this valley led to. Chapter 2204. Ding Dong. At this moment, a strange sound wave came from the front. It sounded like the sound of a zither, as melodious as the sound of flowing water. It also sounded like a pure song that could pierce through the void and directly penetrate one's soul. The mist slowly dispersed as the laughter of young women drifted over. It was as though they had entered a brand new world. Ling Xiao and Jin Se saw a group of women in feathered robes dancing in front of them. Each of them was tall and slender, with jade-like skin. Their countenances were incomparably beautiful. In front of the group of women, there were 5 long tables filled with rare fruits and delicacies. 5 figures sat cross-legged behind the tables, enjoying the dance in front of them with great interest. A red-robed elder, a white-robed youth, a green-robed lady, a black-robed old woman, and a yellow-robed middle-aged man. The auras of the 5 figures were completely different, but they were incomparably harmonious with each other, as if they could fuse together. It presented a different kind of balance and beauty. Isn't it a pleasure to have guests from afar? My 2 young friends, it's fate that we meet. Why don't you come over for a chat? The red-robed elder couldn't help but laugh when he saw Ling Xiao and Jin Se. What a handsome young man. This little sister is also an outstanding beauty. I'm so jealous. The green-robed lady also smiled charmingly, but the aura around her was incomparably pure and contained a majestic aura of life. The black-robed old woman and the yellow-robed middle-aged man also smiled and greeted Ling Xiao and Jin Se. Only the white-robed youth seemed a little cold, and the aura around him was incomparably sharp. Thank you, seniors. Since that's the case, I won't stand on ceremony. Ling Xiao and Jin Se looked at each other, and then smiled slightly. His expression was very calm, but his heart was somewhat shaken. The 5 figures in front of him emitted the aura of the 5 elements, but Ling Xiao couldn't see through their cultivations at all. This meant that their cultivations were much higher than Ling Xiao's. They were at least sages or even great sages. After Ling Xiao finished speaking, he and Jin Se sat down in front of the 5 people. They looked very casual and unrestrained, and began to enjoy the song and dance in front of them. Soon the song and dance ended. Light flashed around those beautiful women, and they slowly disappeared into the clouds. My young friend, you don't care about trifles and are natural and unrestrained. I like you very much. What brings you to the Avalon of 5 elements? The red-robed elder smiled at Ling Xiao. Elder, I came here naturally to look for the 5 elements primordial spirits. I wonder if you have found anything? Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and said with a smile. Ling Xiao could feel that the cultivation of the 5 figures in front of him was unfathomable, but the qi of the 5 elements flowed around them. Perhaps they knew the whereabouts of the 5 elements' original spirits. Original spirits of the 5 elements? That's not something that just anyone can obtain. There are no more 5 elements primordial spirits here. Quickly go back. The white-robed youth who had been silent all this time suddenly sneered. That's right. Young friend, the 5 elemental primordial spirits are the most precious treasures of the Avalon of 5 elements. As the guardians of this place, the 5 of us cannot allow others to take them away. This is not a place you should be. You should go back. The green-dress woman's expression also turned cold. Little friend, you should leave. The others also laughed bitterly. Ling Xiao could feel that the moment he mentioned the 5 elements primordial spirits, the attitudes of the 5 people changed instantly. Some of them even became hostile. Ling Xiao, there's no need to talk nonsense with them because they are the 5 elements primordial spirits. Jin Se's eyes flashed as she said coldly, they are the 5 elements primordial spirits? Ling Xiao was also slightly stunned because he felt that the 5 people in front of him were living creatures with flesh and blood. How could they be the 5 elements primordial spirits? That's right. The 5 elements primordial spirits are crafty and good at transformation. The 5 people in front of us are merely transformed from the 5 elements primordial spirits. Jin Se stared at the 5 people in front of her and said. The sword aura around her rose and instantly became incomparably sharp, as if it could wipe out everything. Whoosh! In an instant, blazing sword light shot out from Jin Se's eyes and slashed towards the 5 people across the sky. It contained an indestructible power. Boom! The void in front of them trembled violently, and the chaotic light exploded. The 5 figures disappeared in front of Ling Xiao and Jin Se in an instant. In an instant, all the figures, rare fruits, and tables disappeared, leaving only a barren valley. In the void, There was an erratic laughter. Haha! I didn't expect it. Little girl, you can actually see through my identity? However, now that you've entered this seat's 5 elements universe grand formation, you can't escape at all. Obediently surrender. As the laughter sounded, the void shook violently. Rays of 5 elements divine light spread out. In an instant, the chaotic mist opened up and a mysterious and ancient world shrouded Ling Xiao and Jin Se. Rumble. There were whistling 5 elements squalls all around. Runes rose and divine chains of order intertwined together, containing endless killing intent. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they rushed towards Ling Xiao and Jin Se. 5 elements universe grand formation? I was careless. I didn't expect the 5 elements origin spirit to be so cunning. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The 5 elements origin spirit was indeed very strange. The figures it created were so real that even he was fooled. If Jin Se hadn't discovered it, he would probably still be in the valley. However, Ling Xiao didn't care about the so-called 5 elements universe formation. Although the power of the 5 elements was extremely strong, he had a few ways to break out of the formation. Crack. Before Ling Xiao could do anything, he saw sword essence rise in Jin Se's eyes. With a crisp sound, Jin Se drew her sword and exuded endless sword qi. The vast sword essence of yin and yang burst out. The ancient sword in her hand directly rushed into the sky. Boom. The runes and divine chains of order that descended towards her exploded. The yin and yang qi turned into a dazzling sword light that seemed to be able to split the world. It suddenly slashed into the sky. Crack. The sky directly shattered, spewing out endless void turbulence. A huge crack that was 1,000,000 miles long appeared. The originally incomparably sturdy 5 elements universe formation couldn't withstand a single blow from Jin Se. Whoosh. Whoosh. Ling Xiao and Jin Se rushed into the sky, and directly rushed out of the 5 elements universe formation. This is the secret skill of yin and yang. Damn it, how can you know the secret skill of yin and yang? A flustered and exasperated voice rang out, containing an incomparably shocked fluctuation. Both Ling Xiao and Jin Se raised their heads at the same time, and saw a 5-colored sun floating in the sky. An incomparably ugly human face could be vaguely seen on the sun, staring at Ling Xiao and Jin Se with widened eyes. This thing is the 5 elements origin spirit? Chapter 2205. The 5 elements origin spirit was too ugly. It looked like a round meatball. Although it exuded a 5-colored divine glow, its face was too ugly. It had different-sized eyes, a rosacea nose and a crooked mouth. It looked as if someone had smashed it with a rock. It exuded an incomparably pure 5 elements aura, intertwined with the great Tao of the 5 elements. Without Jin Se's introduction, Ling Xiao knew that it was the 5 elements origin spirit. 5 elements origin spirit. Since you know that I have the yin-yang secret technique, will you surrender yourself or wait for me to beat you to death? Jin Se stared at the 5 elements primordial spirits and said coldly, Buzz. After Jin Se finished speaking, she exuded circles of yin-yang divine light, and the surrounding 5 elements origin spirit flowed into her body. Mist pervaded her body, making her look more ethereal. Chaos was divided into yin and yang, and yin and yang were the 5 elements. Although yin and yang and the 5 elements were essentially great Taos, the great Tao of yin and yang could evolve the 5 elements origin spirit. To some extent, the yin-yang secret technique could restrain the 5 elements origin spirit. That was why the 5 elements origin spirit was so flustered and exasperated when it saw that Jin Se knew the yin-yang secret technique. The 5 elements origin spirit's eyes flashed, and it said to Jin Se, All right. I know I'm not your opponent, but I don't want to die. I'll exchange a piece of information for my life. How about that? What information do you think is more valuable than your life? Jin Se said coldly. The aura around her became sharper, as if she didn't intend to let the 5 elements origin spirit go. I have information about the 5 elements secret technique. As long as you promise to spare my life, I'll tell you where it is. How about that? It's the 5 elements secret technique. If you get it, you can refine the connate 5 elements. By then, it'll be a piece of cake to break the limits of the physical body and become a saint. The 5 Elements Origin Spirit shouted hurriedly. 5 Elements Secret Technique? Ling Xiao and Jinsei looked at each other in surprise. You mean there's a 5 Elements secret technique in the Avalon of 5 Elements? Where is the 5 Elements secret technique? Ling Xiao asked. I can tell you the Elements secret technique, but you have to swear a heavenly oath, otherwise, I'll self-destruct and you won't get anything. The 5 Elements Origin Spirit said with certainty. Alright. Ling Xiao and Jinsei thought about it for a moment and nodded. With their current cultivation, they couldn't easily make an oath to the heavenly Tao. Otherwise, it would cause a backlash from the heavenly Tao, and their souls would instantly disperse. Therefore, the heavenly oath had a very strong binding effect on them. However, Ling Xiao and Jinsei also had their own considerations. If they could obtain the 5 Elements secret skill, even if they spared the 5 Elements Origin Spirits, it was nothing. I Ling Xiao swear. I Jinsei swear. Ling Xiao and Jinsei both nodded and then swore an oath in their own name. As long as the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits told them the whereabouts of the 5 Elements secret technique, they would let them go. Can you tell me now? Ling Xiao stared at the 5 Elements Original Spirits and asked. Good. The 5 Elements secret technique was indeed in the Avalon of 5 Elements. You may not know this, but the Avalon of 5 Elements once had a 5 Elements Great Emperor. The 5 Elements Great Emperor cultivated the heavenly Tao of the 5 directions, and used the 5 Elements secret arts as his foundation. After his death, this place was enveloped by the great Tao of the 5 Elements and naturally formed our 5 Elements Primordial Spirits. The 5 Elements Great Emperor also left the 5 Elements secret technique here. Seeing that Ling Xiao and Jinsei swore an oath, the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits heaved a sigh of relief and began to talk nonstop. Get to the point. Ling Xiao frowned and interrupted the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits. The 5 Elements secret technique is in the center of the Avalon of 5 Elements, in the 5 Elements Mountain. The 5 Elements Primordial Spirits pointed to the depths of the Avalon of 5 Elements, where there was a towering mountain that pierced through the clouds. It was the tallest mountain in the Avalon of 5 Elements, and was surrounded by clouds and mist. It looked extremely extraordinary. 5 Elements Mountain? Very good, you can lead us there. Jinsei said faintly. Heroes, the 5 Elements Mountain is the forbidden area of the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits. I have no way of going there at all. Why don't you go there yourself? Don't worry, I won't lie to you. The 5 Elements Primordial Spirits said with a crying face. Either you lead the way or you die. What's your choice? The ancient sword in Jinsei's hand pointed at the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits, spewing out blazing rays of light. Furthermore, circles of yin-yang divine light bloomed, causing the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits to freeze instantly. I'll lead you there. Heroes, please wait. The 5 Elements Primordial Spirits said with a bitter smile. Very good. I advise you not to have any ideas, or I'll kill you directly. Jinsei said coldly. She used the yin-yang secret technique, and the aura around her was incomparably fierce. The yin-yang divine light locked the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits, as if it was going to explode with a powerful attack at any time. The 5 Elements Primordial Spirits didn't dare to make the slightest move, and could only obediently lead Ling Xiao and Jinsei to the 5 Elements Mountain. The 5 Elements Mountain was located in the center of the Avalon of 5 Elements. It was a huge mountain tens of thousands of feet tall, floating in the endless sea of clouds. It looked ancient and majestic, emitting a desolate aura, as mysterious as an ancient divine mountain. Under the guidance of the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits, Ling Xiao and Jinsei arrived at the foot of the 5 Elements Mountain. Ling Xiao could feel that the 5 Elements Mountain contained extremely rich 5 Elements power. When the 5 Elements Primordial Spirits came here, it was as if they were bound and would be assimilated by the 5 Elements power in the 5 Elements Mountain at any time. Such rich and pure 5 Elements power was definitely not something an ordinary person could achieve. Ling Xiao increasingly felt that the 5 Elements secret technique might really exist in the 5 Elements Mountain. Where is the 5 Elements secret technique? Ling Xiao asked faintly. 5 elements secret technique? Of course it's there. Look. The eyeballs of the 5 elements origin spirits rolled, and then they pointed forward. Ling Xiao and Jin Se both looked in the direction pointed by the 5 elements primordial spirits, and found that there were towering ancient trees and dense forests filled with mist. At this moment, 2 figures slowly walked out of it. They were 2 beautiful women, both wearing red dresses. Their figures were incomparably hot, their skin was like jade, and their black hair was like a waterfall. However, their expressions were very cold, and there was a kind of indifference and arrogance that kept people 1,000 miles away. Whoosh! At this moment, the 5 elements primordial spirits flashed and disappeared from Ling Xiao's and Jin Se's perception range. The next moment, the 5 elements primordial spirits directly appeared around the 2 women in red dresses. Only then did they heave a sigh of relief and point at Ling Xiao and Jin Se and curse. 2 fairies, quickly report to Master. These 2 bastards are simply too much. They actually want to catch me? They don't know what's good for them. Quickly let Master deal with them. The 5 elements primordial spirits pointed at Ling Xiao and Jin Se, their eyes full of sneers. Chapter 2206. 5 elements origin spirit. So you lied to us? There is no secret skill of 5 elements here? Ling Xiao did not seem to be angry at all. He glanced at the 5 elements origin spirit, and said indifferently, so what if I lied to you? To tell you the truth, the secret skill of 5 elements is indeed in the 5 elements mountain, but it is in the hands of my master. How dare you covet the secret skill of 5 elements? You are really courting death. The 5 elements origin spirit laughed proudly. Since the secret skill of 5 elements is here, as long as I kill your master, I can naturally get the secret skill of 5 elements. Ling Xiao nodded and looked calm. How dare you? The 2 beautiful women in red scolded in unison. They walked over slowly and stared at Ling Xiao and Jin Se condescendingly. Their faces were indifferent, and there was a trace of burning killing intent in their eyes. Who are you? How dare you covet the 5 elements origin spirit, and the secret skill of 5 elements? Hurry up and surrender, or I'll put you in a life or death situation. One of the women in red sneered. Blazing flames rose around her, as if she could burn this part of the world. Her aura was extremely terrifying. Their cultivation had reached the human realm, and they had broken through the limit once to reach the human sovereign realm. They would be considered peerless geniuses even in the chaotic ancient land. However, they were only subordinates of the mysterious master here. Ling Xiao was also curious about the mysterious master. Hand over the secret skill of 5 elements or die. Jin Se's expression was extremely cold. Sword essence rose around her. She held the Taishang sword and intertwined yin and yang qi, locking the 2 women in red in front of her. Her red dress was like blood, and her white hair was like frost. Her aura was incomparably fierce, and her face was incomparably beautiful. When the 2 women in red saw Jin Se, they felt a sense of inferiority, and their hearts were filled with jealousy. However, Jin Se's attitude angered them. Immediately, their expressions became colder and colder. Flames rose around them, distorting the void around them. You want the secret skill of 5 elements? Then you can exchange it with your life. The 2 women in red roared and took the initiative to attack Jin Se. Boom! Their red dresses fluttered in the wind, as if they were burning flames. Each of them held a crimson ancient sword in their hands. The sword light swept through the void, sharp and domineering. Kill! Jin Se's eyes flashed with murderous intent. She held the Taishang sword and charged forward. The yin and yang divine light intertwined. There seemed to be 2 dragons coiling around her. The sword light was ethereal and mysterious. The 2 women in red and Jin Se both cultivated the sword Dao, but the woman in red cultivated the fire sword Dao, while Jin Se cultivated the high sword Dao. They were completely different, and an intense battle broke out. Boom! The sky was filled with flames. The fiery sword Qi and the very high sword Qi collided, causing the sky to tremble. Cracks that looked like spider webs appeared. Turbulence leaked out of the cracks, enveloping the woman in the red dress and Jin Se. Although they were all women, the 3 of them attacked fiercely, aiming at each other's vital points. Divine light trembled in the void, swordwell rose, and a storm swept out in all directions, causing the 5 elements mountain to tremble slightly. I was going to spare your life, but you lied to me. Ling Xiao was not worried about Jinsei. Although Jinsei was fighting against 2, Ling Xiao believed that the final winner would be Jinsei. His eyes fell on the 5 elements' original spirits. They were calm and clear, as if they could see through everything. After meeting Ling Xiao's gaze, the 5 elements' primordial spirit could not help but tremble all over, and said in a threatening manner, "Kid, this is the 5 elements mountain. If you dare to attack me, Master will not let you off." Although the 5 elements' original spirits were spiritual objects of heaven and earth, they were not very powerful. At most, they were equivalent to a human realm expert who had just broken through the limit once. The perception of the 5 elements' original spirit was incomparably keen. It could sense that there was a dangerous aura on Ling Xiao. It was afraid that it was not Ling Xiao's opponent. But when it thought of its powerful and terrifying master, its heart calmed down. "Your master?" I was also very curious about who he was, and I was also very interested in his 5 elements secret technique. "You lied to me, so you'll have to compensate me with your life," Ling Xiao said faintly, and then reached out to grab the 5 elements original spirits. Boom! Ling Xiao's palm expanded, and chaotic gas filled the air, as if it contained an ancient and mysterious world. At the same time, it emitted a powerful devouring power, forming a vast devouring vortex. Ling Xiao knew that the 5 elements' original spirits were transformed from the 5 elements' great Tao origin. The 5 elements' magical powers had no effect on them, and could even be used to escape. So Ling Xiao directly used the devouring heaven secret technique, trying to capture the 5 elements' original spirits. The divine light behind Ling Xiao was boiling, as if there was a boundless sea. The vast vortex could devour the sky and erode the sun. The scene was extremely shocking. "Bastard, you dare to attack me?" The 5 elements' original spirit's face changed. It did not expect Ling Xiao to attack it so decisively. It could not help but scream, and the 5 elements' divine light flowed around its body. In an instant, it wanted to break through the void and escape. Rumble! However, the devouring heaven secret technique broke out completely, and the devouring heaven divine sea formed by it engulfed everything. The 5 elements' original spirit had no way to escape, and it was about to be caught by Ling Xiao. Whoosh! At this moment, the 5 elements' original spirit's body shone brightly, and the 5 elements' divine rings rippled, making it emit a wave of invulnerability. Its body seemed to erupt with a terrifying wave of power, and it instantly broke free from Ling Xiao's devouring heaven divine sea and fled toward the 5 elements mountain. "Master, save me!" The 5 elements primordial spirit yelled. Rings of 5 elements divine rings filled the air around its body, forming a mysterious resonance with the 5 elements mountain. This caused the 5 elements mountain to emit a dazzling divine glow, looking mysterious and unfathomable. Crack! As if a gate of heaven opened, the great Tao principles intertwined in the void, and the 5 elements' divine light bloomed. Runes rose, and a mysterious figure slowly emerged in the void. "Master has come out of seclusion? Aha! Boy, you're dead. No one can save you now." The 5 elements' original spirit's eyes lit up, and it immediately laughed arrogantly. Is this the master of the 5 elements' original spirit?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he did not continue to attack the 5 elements' original spirit. Instead, he stared at the figure in the void. For some reason, he faintly felt a familiar aura. It was as if he had seen this person somewhere before. Buzz. Chapter 2207. It was a man who looked perfect and flawless. He was dressed in a white robe, had a slender figure, and long black hair casually draped behind his head. His face was incomparably handsome, and his skin was sparkling and translucent like jade. He looked flawless and was even full of a soul-stirring beauty. His face could only be described as beautiful. Even women would be jealous of his appearance, especially his pair of eyes that were like stars. They were deep, resplendent, and bright, as if they contained a starry sky, causing people to unconsciously be immersed in them. He strolled over, sprinkling bits of starlight around him, as if bathing in the starlight all over the sky. The corners of his mouth held a faint smile, and his temperament was aloof and otherworldly. Behind him, a small dog followed. It stuck out its little tongue, and its eyes were bright. It looked very cute. When Ling Xiao saw this man, he could not help but be slightly taken aback. He did recognize this man. Jiang Luer. When Ling Xiao participated in the pill talisman ceremony, he inadvertently plucked the 5 origin sacred medicine in the small pill talisman realm, and released Jiang Luer, who was known as a peerless genius from 90 million years ago, and was the most promising expert to affirm his Tao and become an emperor. Ling Xiao did not expect that the owner of the 5 origin spirits was actually Jiang Luer. Master, this bastard wants to kill me. You must uphold justice for me. After seeing Jiang Luer, the 5 origin spirits immediately ran over and complained tearfully, looking at Ling Xiao with eyes full of arrogance and complacency. It even knew how terrifying this master was. In its view, if its master was willing to take action, no matter how strong Ling Xiao was, he would die without a doubt. Jiang Luer looked at Ling Xiao with a calm expression, and the corners of his mouth revealed a smile. Little brother, we meet again. Yes, we meet again. We haven't seen each other for a few years, and Brother Zhang's strength has become more and more unfathomable. Ling Xiao nodded and said, You know each other? The 5 origin spirits were immediately dumbfounded. Yes. Little brother and I have known each other for a few years. Did you offend him? Why aren't you going to apologize to him? Jiang Luer looked at the 5 origin spirits and said, Apologize to him? Master, are you kidding me? He wants to kill me. He should be the one apologizing to me. The 5 origin spirits said angrily. Jinsei, stop it. Ling Xiao said to Jinsei, who was fighting with 2 women in red in the void. Jiang Luer had a very comfortable aura, and Ling Xiao had a good impression of her. He could feel that Jiang Luer had no hostility towards him, so he called Jinsei. The blazing sword light exploded in the air like a small sun. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Jinsei flew out of the explosion and didn't continue to attack. On the other hand, the faces of the 2 women in red dress were a little pale. They secretly sighed in relief. The 2 of them were already at a disadvantage. If Jinsei didn't stop now, they would really be defeated by Jinsei. The way they looked at Jinsei was slightly different. Jinsei's cultivation was on par with theirs, but her strength was far above theirs. Although they were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. Ling Xiao cupped his hands and smiled at Jiang Luer. It doesn't matter. Speaking of which, this guy is too reckless. Little brother, are you here for the secret technique of 5 elements? Jiang Luer waved her hand and smiled. I do have some ideas. I wonder if the secret technique of 5 elements has fallen into your hands? I can exchange it with other Heavenly Palace secret techniques. Ling Xiao nodded, not bothering to hide his thoughts. The chaotic ancient land was the best opportunity to collect the 12 sky arts secret techniques. Since he knew that the secret technique of 5 elements was here, Ling Xiao naturally did not intend to let it go. No need to go through so much trouble. The secret technique of 5 elements is on top of the 5 elements peak. There is a 5 elements heavenly steel there. If you are fated, you can naturally obtain the secret technique of 5 elements from there. You can give it a try. Jiang Luer smiled slightly. Oh, on top of the 5 elements peak? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. It seemed that the 5 origin spirits did not completely lie to him. If he could obtain the secret technique of 5 elements, not only would his strength increase greatly, but he would also be one step closer to collecting the 12 sky arts. Brother Ling Xiao, now that the final assessment of the Heavenly Selection Assembly is coming, what do you think of the Chosen One? Jiang Luer changed the topic. The Chosen One? How difficult was it to become the Heaven's chosen child when countless geniuses and demonic geniuses from all over the universe fought for supremacy? But Brother Jiang should have a chance. Ling Xiao said with a rueful smile. Jiang Luer in front of him looked unfathomable, giving Ling Xiao the feeling that he was somewhat similar to the Son of Heaven. It had to be said that the Son of Heaven was the strongest among his peers that Ling Xiao had seen so far. Even Zhou Panlong, the original prince, and the others were much weaker than the Son of Heaven. Back then, the celestial emperor had swept through all the realms and created the era of the human race. He had led the human race to become the master of the era and entered the god realm. His descendants were also incomparably dazzling, causing their peers of the younger generation to pale in comparison. You're wrong. In my opinion, whether it's me or the Son of Heaven, the chances of becoming the chosen one are not high. The person with the greatest chance should be you, Jiang Luer said with deep meaning. Me. Brother Jiang, you really have confidence in me, Ling Xiao said with a smile. That's right. You're the only person in this era that I can't see through. Although we all belong to this era, we've been sealed for a long time. Whether it's fate or opportunities, we can't compare to you. The heavenly Tao will always favor the current people, Jiang Luer said slowly. Brother Jiang, have you discovered something? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt that Jiang Luer's words had a hidden meaning, as if he had discovered something in the chaotic ancient land. I'm just guessing, don't take it seriously. But if it really comes down to it, even if I meet Brother Ling Xiao, I won't be lenient. The chosen one is too attractive, Jiang Luer said with a smile. Me too. I'm looking forward to a battle with Brother Jiang. Ling Xiao nodded with a smile, a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. He had his own pride. Although Jiang Luer was known as a peerless genius 90 million years ago, he didn't think that he was weaker than Jiang Luer, the Son of Heaven, and the others. He was confident that he could fight with Jiang Luer. Fighting with these ancient geniuses was the best way for him to sublimate, break through his limits, and advance to a higher realm. Buzz. Jiang Luer pointed at the Five Elements Origin Spirit. The Five Elements Origin Spirit seemed to know what Jiang Luer wanted to do. Although it was reluctant, it didn't stop Jiang Luer and allowed Jiang Luer to point at its forehead. Chapter 2208. Brother Ling Xiao, I'll give this drop of blood to you as a token of my gratitude for breaking the seal for me. I'm sure we'll meet again. Jiang Luer smiled as he handed the drop of five-colored blood to Ling Xiao. Thank you, Brother Jiang. Where does Brother Jiang intend to go? Ling Xiao did not refuse and immediately accepted the five-colored blood bead. Although he did not refine the complete Five Elements original spirit, this drop of five-colored blood bead could allow him to comprehend the Five Elements' great way origin. Not only could it greatly increase his cultivation, but it would also make it easier for him to comprehend the Five Elements' secret skill. I'm going to find an ancient seal and wait for the final battle. No matter what, I'm going to fight for it. It's time for the world to change. Jiang Luer's voice was ethereal, as if he was referring to something. He did not look back. He waved his hand at Ling Xiao and walked forward, slowly disappearing into the depths of the sea of clouds. The two women in red and the Five Elements Origin Spirits followed closely behind. Brother Jiang is so carefree. Ling Xiao looked at Jiang Luer's departing figure, and said with some emotion, He's very strong. Jin Se, who had been silent, suddenly said, Oh, how many moves can you take from him? Ling Xiao looked at Jin Se and smiled with interest. One move. If he goes all out, I can't take one move. The same goes for you. Jin Se said lightly, then turned and walked up the Five Elements mountain. Ling Xiao was a little surprised by Jin Se's judgment, but when he heard Jin Se's last sentence, he was a little depressed. Jin Se had too little confidence in him. Jin Se, aren't you underestimating me? Let me tell you, let alone one move, he won't be able to defeat me in 10 or even 100 moves. Ling Xiao chased after Jin Se somewhat childishly. The Five Elements mountain was majestic, tens of thousands of feet high, and incomparably steep. It floated above the sea of clouds, shrouded in dazzling five-colored divine clouds, looking ethereal and mysterious. Ling Xiao and Jin Se could feel that the Five Elements mountain contained vast Five Elements origins, especially at the top of the Five Elements mountain. It seemed to be the place where the Five Elements gathered, and where the great Tao was born. There was a mysterious Tao sound pervading the air. The two of them walked up the stairs and soon arrived at the top of the Five Elements mountain. Standing at the top of the Five Elements mountain, he was surrounded by a sea of clouds. The peaks of the floating mountains were exposed, just like small islands in the sea. The peak of the 5 Elements mountain was like the center of the Avalon of 5 Elements. From there, one could overlook everything and take in the entire Avalon of 5 Elements. The top of the mountain was completely bare, with only a single ancient tablet. Other than that, there was nothing else. Is this the 5 Elements heavenly steel? Ling Xiao carefully sized up the ancient tablet, a strange look in his eyes. The 5 Elements heavenly steel looked to be hundreds of meters tall. It was grayish-brown in color, and the surface of the steel was mottled. There were many traces of the vicissitudes of time on it, and it looked extremely ordinary. Ling Xiao did not sense any aura related to the great Tao of the 5 Elements from the ancient tablet. Jiang Luer said that the fated ones can obtain the secret skill of 5 Elements from the 5 Elements heavenly steel. I'm afraid this is the reason. It's not easy to comprehend the secret skill of 5 Elements. Jinsei said slowly. Do you have any ideas? Ling Xiao looked at Jinsei and smiled. Perhaps you can try using the secret skill of Yin Yang. The secret skill of Yin Yang and the secret skill of 5 Elements come from the same source. They both originated from the supreme secret skill of chaos. The two have a strange connection. If you use the secret skill of Yin Yang, you should be able to comprehend the secret skill of 5 Elements from the 5 Elements heavenly steel. This is the Yin scroll. If you combine it with the Yang scroll, you will be able to obtain the complete secret skill of Yin Yang. Jinsei said after thinking for a while. Whoosh! An inheritance crystal appeared in Jinsei's palm, and she passed it to Ling Xiao. She knew that Ling Xiao had obtained the Yang scroll from Feng Qingyang. Now that she gave the inheritance crystal of the Yin scroll to Ling Xiao would be able to obtain the complete secret skill of Yin Yang. However, Jinsei did not realize that she had unknowingly started to think for Ling Xiao. Naturally, she took out the Yin scroll without any hesitation. All right, thank you, Ling Xiao said with a radiant smile. You're welcome. You've helped me so much. The Yin scroll is my reward. Jinsei avoided Ling Xiao's gaze and said plainly. Ling Xiao smiled and did not say anything. He placed the inheritance crystal of the Yin scroll between his eyebrows. Suddenly, a vast torrent of information surged into his consciousness. Ling Xiao's body trembled slightly. He could feel that there was a mysterious flow of Yin and Yang qi in his consciousness, causing some changes in his eyes. Ling Xiao's eyes turned black and white. The world seemed to be left with only black and white in his eyes. They intertwined with each other and formed all living things, forming the heavens and realms. Yin and Yang qi were the origin of all living things. They contained the ultimate mystery of the origin of life. Ling Xiao immediately sat cross-legged in front of the 5 Elements heavenly steel. The mysterious aura around him intertwined with the flow of Yin and Yang qi, causing him to become ethereal. Jinsei was very patient. She held her sword and stood behind Ling Xiao to protect him. After obtaining the inheritance of the secret skill of Yin Yang, it was no different from a metamorphosis for Ling Xiao. Many of the problems that he had encountered in the process of cultivation had been easily solved. His body was originally as tough as steel. Now the flow of Yin and Yang qi made his body stronger and more flexible. Every particle in his body began to have the Yin and Yang qi fused with them. Yin and Yang qi flowed in Ling Xiao's eyes, allowing him to see through everything. It was mysterious. Ling Xiao did not care about these changes. His attention was completely focused on the secret skill of Yin and Yang in his consciousness. The two ancient and mysterious runes of Yin and Yang intertwined like the first divine rune that created the world. It contained the truth of the great Tao, causing Ling Xiao to sink into a state of enlightenment. Yin and Yang, the beginning of all living things. A bell seemed to ring in Ling Xiao's ears, causing him to be enlightened. It was like he had an epiphany, comprehending the true meaning of the laws of Yin and Yang. Mysterious aura overflowed from Ling Xiao's body. His entire being became ethereal, and the space around him was slightly distorted. He seemed to be about to transform into the Great Path and leave. His entire being was one with the Great Path, and his aura was extremely mysterious. At this moment, the ordinary-looking 5 Elements heavenly steel underwent some changes. Crack! The mottled surface of the 5 Elements heavenly steel began to peel off, and a resplendent divine light burst forth with a loud bang, intertwining with a 5-colored divine light. white, green, black, red, and yellow divine light that contained the origin of the 5 elements shot towards the sky with a loud bang. Ling Xiao's body trembled slightly. Black and white light emanated from his body. In an instant, they merged with the 5-colored divine light, forming a 7-colored divine light. In an instant, the space shook violently. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Chapter 2209. When Ling Xiao was comprehending the secret skill of Yin Yang, there was a strange resonance between him and the 5 elements sky steel. Rumble. At the same time, a ray of light flew out from Ling Xiao's body and started to expand in the void. It turned into a giant steel and appeared beside the 5 elements sky steel. Blazing divine light gushed out, and the yin and yang qi flowed. Bolts of lightning intertwined, making the giant steel look extremely mysterious. This is the sky steel of sun and moon. Ling Xiao, who was in a state of cultivation, was shocked. He did not expect the sky steel of sun and moon to rush out from his body when he was comprehending the secret skill of yin yang. Ling Xiao had obtained the sky steel of sun and moon in the war god's plane. Although he could feel that the sky steel of sun and moon was extraordinary, he did not know what it was used for. Now that he had obtained the complete secret skill of yin yang, the sky steel of sun and moon seemed to have been stimulated and exploded instantly. Rumble. The sky steel of sun and moon flowed with the yin and yang qi. The 5 elements sky steel released a 5-colored ray of light. The two of them started to get closer to each other. Rumble. The heaven and earth trembled, and a blazing divine light storm swept out in all directions. In the end, the sky steel of sun and moon and the 5 elements sky steel merged into one. In an instant, a 7-colored ray of light bloomed and lit up the sky completely. Ling Xiao's body slowly floated up. The 7-colored heavenly steel gradually disintegrated and finally turned into 2 ancient and mysterious scriptures. They contain the mysterious power of yin and yang and the 5 elements and were extremely dazzling. The wordless heavenly book between Ling Xiao's eyebrows also began to tremble violently. It erupted with a strange sound wave, like the sound of the heavens splitting the earth. The 2 ancient scriptures were like flowing light, instantly shooting into Ling Xiao's forehead. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book released a blazing 9-colored ray of light. It was like the way of heaven had been completed. Suddenly, the secret skill of yin and yang and the secret skill of 5 elements appeared on it. At the same time, Ling Xiao also received the inheritance of these 2 sutras. His entire aura began to become erratic and unstable. 10th Heaven Star Constellation. Secret skill of yin and yang. 11th Heaven Star Constellation. Secret skill of 5 elements. Rumble. After receiving the inheritance of the yin-yang and 5 elements celestial technique, Ling Xiao's entire body was covered in a scarlet glow. Within the avalon of 5 elements, the vast 5 elemental origin energy in the surroundings surged into his body. Roar. Roar. Inside Ling Xiao's body, there were the roars of dragons and tigers, as well as the rumbling of heavenly thunder. Endless divine light intertwined. He sat cross-legged in the sky above the 5 elements mountain, and all kinds of mysterious visions appeared around him. Ling Xiao had originally cultivated the ancestral dragon secret skill, true phoenix secret skill, white tiger secret skill, black tortoise secret skill, and Qilin secret skill. However, apart from the ancestral dragon secret skill, which he had achieved great success in, he could only use part of the divine beast bloodline, even though he had inherited the other 4 secret skills. However, now that Ling Xiao had obtained the secret skill of the 5 elements, the vast 5 elements origin energy made his aura mysterious. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon and the other secret skills seemed to have been completely activated, making Ling Xiao's physical body even more terrifying. 5-colored divine light flowed around his body, and the 5 sacred beasts were entrenched in his internal organs. They fused with each other and erupted with a terrifying energy fluctuation. Ling Xiao felt that the power in his body was like a volcano that was about to erupt. It had reached a critical point, and was about to break through the limit and ascend to a higher realm. Ling Xiao's body was crystal clear, and it was as if his bones could be seen. 7-colored divine light flowed in his body, and the power of yin and yang and the 5 elements seemed to have cleansed and transformed his body. making it even more powerful. Although he had closed his eyes, he could feel that the world was extremely clear, and it was filled with all kinds of laws. The yin and yang and the 5 elements were like 7 heavenly pillars, forming the foundation that supported this world. Ling Zhao's physical body had fused with the Great Path precepts, and there was not a trace of impurity. Every particle in his body was filled with chaotic qi, as if it was going to split the world apart, forming a mysterious small world. His body contained a terrifying power, as if he was a god of creation who had created a boundless world. He was tall and majestic, and a single glance at him was enough to make one's mind tremble. Ling Xiao could feel that the power in his body had accumulated to the extreme, and it could erupt at any time. "Open!" Ling Xiao yelled, and boundless 7-colored light gushed out of his body. Then he threw a punch into the sky, and a layer of blazing flames appeared around him, beginning to burn fiercely. Rumble! The world trembled as Ling Xiao threw a punch, directly shattering the endless clouds in the sky. A huge fist mark shrouded the sky, causing the void to tremble as a vast chaotic light bloomed. Meanwhile, a second flower of Tao slowly bloomed above Ling Zhao's head. In an instant, boundless light illuminated the world. The mysterious flower of Tao swayed as if the endless laws of the world had gathered, making Ling Zhao's presence mysterious and ethereal. Is this the second level of ascension? Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes and softly murmured to himself. His eyes were incomparably deep. 7-colored divine light shot out from within, making him look incomparably dignified. This was especially true for the 2 great Tao immortal flowers above his head. They were sparkling and translucent. As they overlapped, chaotic light flickered, as if they contained a boundless world. Ling Xiao didn't expect that after obtaining the secret arts of yin and yang and the secret arts of the 5 elements, he would be able to break through the second limit and ascend to the earth realm in one go. Above his head, the sovereign of Tao sat cross-legged in the flower of Tao. It looked like a miniature version of Ling Xiao, real and clear. The sovereign of earth seemed ethereal, flowing with the aura of reincarnation. It was like everything that had passed away in the past. It was unfathomable, but it truly existed. The present, the past, and the future. Ling Xiao came to a realization. The 3rd level of celestial realm probably represented the future, and the sovereign of heaven represented all kinds of variables in the future. After forming the 3 sovereigns of heaven, earth, and mortal, he could control the present, the past, and the future. He could completely see through himself and control his own destiny. This was the true 3 levels of ascension. Not only have you obtained the secret arts of the 5 elements, but your cultivation has also improved. You've broken through to the earth realm. It looks like you're not far from the heaven realm. Jinsei walked over with a hint of surprise in her eyes. I still have to thank you for protecting me. Jinsei, I probably won't be able to use this 5-colored blood pearl. Take it and practice the secret arts of the 5 elements. You should be able to take another step forward. Ling Xiao smiled and handed the 5-colored blood pearl and the inheritance crystal he'd prepared beforehand to Jinsei. Chapter 22:10. Ling Xiao was very happy. Unknowingly, Jinsei had become warm and affectionate. Naturally, she gave up the opportunity to comprehend the 5 elements' secret arts to protect him. The way of the great oblivion was the way of the heavens. The way of the heavens was emotionless. It was neither pleased by external things nor sorrowful. It was based on self-interest and would not be moved or angered by external things. However, Ling Xiao found that Jinsei seemed to have reached a critical moment. She was between the way of the emotions and the way of the emotionless. It was as if she could step into the way of the great oblivion at any time. Ling Xiao remembered what the emperor had once said. If Jinsei could step into the way of the great oblivion, she would be able to recover her past memories and remember everything. Ling Xiao could feel that with Jinsei by his side, she had a great influence on him. Thank you. Jinsei was a little hesitant, but she still accepted the 5-colored blood pearl and inheritance crystal and nodded. You're welcome. Jinsei were one. You'll understand everything when you remember the past. Ling Xiao smiled. He was in a great mood. He had already obtained the reincarnation secret skill, heaven's punishment secret skill, Yin Yang secret skill, 5 elements secret skill, and heaven battling secret skill. Not only did these 5 heavens secret skills increase Ling Xiao's strength greatly, but they also brought him much closer to gathering the 12 heavens secret skills. In addition to these 5 sky skills, Ling Xiao also obtained the incomplete secret arts of destiny, karma, and space-time. He believed that it would not be long before he could gather all the 12 sky skills. At that time, with the 12 sky skills as the foundation, he would be invincible. Even if his identity was exposed, he would have some ability to protect himself. During this period of time, Ling Xiao had a sense of crisis in his heart. He had a feeling that he would not be able to hide his identity for long. The old goat and the others are in some trouble. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. The old goat sent a voice transmission to ask for help. He was in a lot of trouble, which shocked Ling Xiao. After all, the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang were all experts of the heaven-treading third realm. Their opponents were probably extraordinary to be able to make them feel troubled. Let's go take a look. Jin Sei put away the 5-colored blood bead and the inheritance crystal, and her expression became calm and indifferent again. Let's go. I also want to see what kind of person could make the old goat feel troubled. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He rose into the air with Jin Sei and flew towards the old goat. After the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang left, they inadvertently found an ancient heavenly palace in the Sea of Clouds. The heavenly palace was hidden in the depths of the clouds and was shrouded by mysterious laws. No one knew how long it had been sealed. Ordinary people would not be able to find this place. If it were not for Old Goat's group being lucky, they would not have been able to find this heavenly palace. The heavenly palace was sparkling and translucent, as if it was made of colored glass. It emitted a 5-colored divine glow and looked incomparably mysterious. It contained a boundless emperor's might. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang were all very excited. They felt that they must have found the inheritance of an expert, so they were eager to enter the heavenly palace to search for treasures. However, the aura of the heavenly palace also attracted 2 uninvited guests. They were 2 young men with unfathomable auras. One of them was wearing a 5-colored Taoist robe. He had a slender figure and looked extraordinarily handsome. He emitted a powerful aura from head to toe. The other looked very ordinary. He wore a gray robe and his black hair was draped over his shoulders. There seemed to be a faint chaotic aura around him. His appearance was very ordinary, but his eyes were incomparably deep and calm. In the beginning, they were very restrained. They worked together to break many of the restrictions in the heavenly palace. In the end, they pushed open the door of the heavenly palace and entered the heavenly palace. The old goat and the others also knew the origins of these 2 people. The man in the 5-colored Taoist robe was the holy son of the 5 elements celestial sect, Yuan Chun. The ordinary-looking man was the holy son of the chaotic heavenly sect, Wuji. The holy son of the 5 elements celestial sect was one thing, but the holy son of the chaotic heavenly sect shocked the old goat and the others. The chaotic heavenly sect had always been the leader of the 12 holy lands. It was the strongest force in the entire god realm. Legend had it that the chaotic heavenly sect had existed for several eras. It was even older than the human race. No one knew the details of the chaotic heavenly sect. Even a few of the 9 emperors of the human race had cultivated in the chaotic heavenly sect. The chaotic heavenly sect was extremely mysterious. It was said that the chaotic heavenly sect was very strict in accepting disciples. No one knew the location of the chaotic heavenly sect. At this moment, the old goat and the others were shocked when they saw the holy son of the chaotic heavenly sect, Wuji. They were secretly on guard. This was because they realized that they could not see through the holy son of the Wuji holy son's cultivation. After entering the heavenly palace, they found an ancient scripture and a circular jade disc in the heavenly palace. A conflict finally arose. The old goat and the others had their eyes on the ancient scripture. The holy son of the Wuji holy son and Yuan Chen holy son were extremely overbearing. Not only did they want the jade disc, but they also wanted the complete ancient scripture. They only allowed the old goat and the others to copy a portion of it. In an instant, the atmosphere became tense. The two holy sons are really overbearing. We were able to open the restriction of the heavenly palace because we work together. You want to monopolize these two treasures. Do you really think we are easy to bully? Taoist Wuliang said indifferently. My three friends, do you know where this heavenly palace is? This is the cave residence left behind by the seniors of the Five Elements Celestial Sect. This ancient scripture and the jade disc are the most precious treasures of the Five Elements Celestial Sect. It is impossible for them to fall into the hands of outsiders. I can give the three of you some compensation. How about it? The Yuanchen Holy Son smiled indifferently. His expression looked very gentle, but the old goat and the others could keenly sense the arrogance hidden behind that gentleness. Give us some compensation? In your dreams. That ancient scripture probably contains a supreme emperor technique. The jade disc is also not simple. It may be some kind of precious treasure. We agreed to split it equally with you. You have already taken advantage of us. Are you still not satisfied? The old goat sneered. He had a fiery temper. At this moment, he did not find the Yuanchen Holy Son and the Wuji Holy Son pleasing to the eye. If Taoist Wuliang had not stopped him, he would have gone berserk. The three of you, I advise you not to refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. This is the cave residence left behind by the seniors of the Five Elements Celestial Sect. To let you copy an ancient scripture is already an extra favor. Don't push your luck. The Yuanchen Holy Son's expression was slightly cold, and the five-colored light around him became even more dazzling. Push my luck. Hee, how overbearing. You said this is the cave residence left behind by the seniors of the Five Elements Celestial Sect, and it is? I also said that this is a gift from my grandson to me. Damn it, I hate sanctimonious things like you the most. If you want to fight, then fight. Do you really think we are afraid of you? Chapter 22:11. I advise you not to fight here. The Wuji Saint is magnanimous to allow you to copy the ancient scripture and leave. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Otherwise, if you offend the Wuji Saint, no one can save you. The Yuanchen Saint sneered. His cultivation was similar to that of the old goat and Feng Qingyang. He had broken through the limit once and advanced to the heaven-treading realm. However, he seemed to regard the Wuji Saint as his leader. Regardless of whether it was the way he spoke or acted, he revealed an extremely respectful attitude. Wuji Saint, you want to show off in front of me? I'm afraid you've chosen the wrong place. Today I'll say it here. Either you give me the ancient scripture or we fight. The old goat sneered. The aura around him was extremely sharp. It locked onto the Yuanchen Saint and the Wuji Saint. A dangerous aura surged, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. At this moment, the Wuji Saint's gaze was fixed on the crystal-clear jade disc. It was as if he did not care about the old goat and the other two at all. At this moment, after hearing the old goat's words, the Wuji Saint came back to his senses. He frowned slightly and said, Believe me, these two treasures are not something you can covet. If you leave now, I can spare your lives. I don't want to kill anyone today. The Wuji Saint had an arrogant attitude. His voice was majestic and overbearing. Immediately the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang were enraged. The Wuji Saint was indeed extremely overbearing. You want to take the good fortune jade disc for yourself? Aren't you being too overbearing? I'm also very interested in the good fortune jade disc. Why don't you give it all to me? At this moment, a calm and indifferent voice rang out in the void. Swoosh! Swoosh! Ling Xiao and Jin Se flew in from outside the heavenly palace. The aura around them was extremely powerful, causing the divine light to blaze in the heavenly palace. Mist rose, and it was extremely violent. Ling Xiao, you're finally here. If you hadn't come, we would have fought with these two bastards. The old goat's eyes lit up as he heaved a sigh of relief. They haven't fought yet, have they? Are you so unconfident that you're not their match? Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and said. Previously, he had thought that old goat and the other two had fallen into a desperate situation, so he had rushed over with Jin Se in a hurry. However, he did not expect to find old goat and the other two saints only confronting each other and not fighting. Ling Xiao also heard the words of the Yuanchen Saint Sun and the Wuji Saint Sun, and was somewhat dissatisfied with their overbearing attitude. However, when he saw the two treasures in the heavenly palace, Ling Xiao immediately understood why the Yuanqian sage and the Wuji sage were so insistent on seizing the two treasures. This was because the jade butterfly was a fragment of the good fortune jade disc. Who are you? Yuanqian Shengzi's eyes flashed as he said coldly. The saintess of the Taishangdao Palace? If I'm not mistaken, you're Long Outyin from the War God Temple, right? You want to be my enemy too? The everlasting saint said faintly. He sounded a little surprised. That's right, it's me. It's not me being your enemy, it's you being my enemy. The three of them are my good brothers. If I can't seek justice for them when my good brothers are being bullied, then I'm too incompetent. Moreover, I'm also very interested in the good fortune jade disc. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. You can recognize the good fortune jade disc? I know, you also have a fragment of the good fortune jade disc on you, right? Hand over all the fragments of the good fortune jade disc, and I can spare your life. The Wuji saint's eyes lit up as he stared at Ling Xiao. You want the fragments of the good fortune jade disc? That depends on whether you have the ability to do so. As long as you defeat me, all the treasures are yours. However, if you lose, hand over the two treasures obediently, and then scram with your tail between your legs. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a strong fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. He was keenly aware that there was the aura of the good fortune jade disc in the Wuji saint's body, and it was extremely pure. It was not much weaker than the good fortune jade disc in his body, which made Ling Xiao's heart tremble. This was the first time he had seen someone with the good fortune jade disc. The Wuji saint of the chaotic heavenly sect was indeed not simple. Are you challenging me? You've just broken through to the heaven-treading realm, and you're indeed extraordinary. If you think this is your trump card, then you're gravely mistaken. The Wuji saint said faintly, his expression still calm. I'd really like to try. Ling Xiao retorted as he stared at the Wuji saint. A faint chaotic aura spread out from his body. The Wuji saint was extremely powerful. Ling Xiao guessed that he had probably reached the third heaven realm. In addition, the chaotic heavenly sect's various supreme superpowers and peerless emperor techniques allowed the Wuji saint to possess extremely terrifying combat strength. Even so, Ling Xiao still wanted to fight with him. He would advance step by step, defeating one opponent after another, sweeping away all the sky prides and accumulating his own strength. Finally, he would be able to fight with the emperor. Ling Xiao knew that if he wanted to obtain the human tribe seal, he would have to fight with the emperor. Rumble! Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint's aura collided, and a vast aura rose. It was like two tornadoes that swept across the heavens and earth, erupting with blazing divine light that caused the heavens and earth to rumble. When their eyes met, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Chaotic light bloomed, and there was a supreme divine power that could destroy the heavens and earth. You're not bad. However, you shouldn't have touched the good fortune jade disc. Since you're unwilling to hand it over, I'll have to take it myself. From today onwards, the war god Hall's fortune will be cut off. The Wuji saint said faintly. Rumble. His voice was like brilliant thunder, causing the void all around to tremble violently. The vast precepts of the great path descended and intertwined together like divine chains of order. In an instant, they pierced through the void and surged toward Ling Xiao. At the same time, the Wuji saint also made his move. Bang! He blasted a simple punch toward Ling Xiao. In an instant, chaotic light exploded. The heavens shook, and the sun and moon dimmed. The vast chaotic fist print was extremely fierce. Great! Ling Xiao's eyes lit up immediately. He could feel a terrifying power coming from the Wuji saint. It was as if the Wuji saint's body contained an endless amount of chaos. Every move he made was filled with unfathomable heavenly might. This was the true chaotic sacred body. Ling Xiao felt the pressure, but his battle intent burned even brighter. He held the invincible fist print in his hand, and golden light gushed out from his body. The dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens, and a golden divine dragon charged toward the Wuji saint. Rumble! The void trembled, and blazing divine light swept out, causing the heavenly palace to shake violently. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint flew backward at the same time. Chapter 22:12. Kacha. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint moved around in the void at extreme speed, like two golden shadows. Every collision was like a volcanic eruption, spewing out endless blazing divine light. Kill. The Wuji Saint's eyes were cold as he roared. His body shook like thunder. Chaotic chi gushed out from his body. The Wuji Saint's body emitted endless energy fluctuations. It was terrifying to the extreme. His physical body seemed to be able to hold up the sky, causing the universe to tremble. The vast chaotic light in the surroundings poured into his body. The Wuji Saint's every move contained an unfathomable heavenly might. His entire body was in harmony with the Great Path, and his every move contained the might of the Great Path's precepts. Divine chains of order traversed the sky, completely sealing off the surroundings. This was the true chaotic sacred body. It could control the chaos, control the Great Path, sweep everything, and be invincible. Roar. The dragon's roar shook the sky. Ling Xiao activated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. His body shone with golden light, and a vast dragon's might gushed out. A golden dragon shadow appeared. It looked lifelike, and the dragon's roar seemed to be able to shatter the world. Ancestral Dragon Fist. Ling Xiao roared. His body and the golden dragon merged into one. He turned into a giant golden dragon and pounced on the Wuji Saint. The giant dragon claw turned into a fierce fist print, suppressing the surroundings. Ling Xiao had cultivated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon to the great accomplishment realm, and was only one step away from reaching the great accomplishment realm. Although this step was not easy to take, Ling Xiao had glimpsed a trace of the divine power of the ancestral dragon body. He had evolved the immeasurable ancestral dragon fist, and engaged in an intense battle with the Wuji Saint. Chaotic Heaven Opening Palm. The Wuji Saint's body was surrounded by chaotic chi. There seemed to be the sun and the moon rising in his eyes. He slammed his palm toward Ling Xiao. The palm print was vast, as if it could split the world. It contained supreme power. The collision of the ancestral dragon fist and the chaotic heaven opening palm was a physical showdown between Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint. Instantly, a terrifying hurricane was set off, annihilating the surrounding void. The heavenly palace contained a mysterious array space. Mountains, rivers, and all living things appeared inside. Even so, the heavenly palace was trembling violently, as if it could not withstand the battle between the Wuji Saint and Ling Xiao. Boom, boom, boom. When the fist and palm collided, a thunderous boom rang out, causing the surrounding sky to rumble and tremble. Cracks appeared in space and spatial turbulence leaked out from them. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint traversed across the sky, as if they did not care about the torn space at all. Their attacks contained endless divine might, as if they could kill all living things. Too strong. How can Long Outyin be so strong? The Yuanshan Saint was shocked, his eyes filled with disbelief. Although he was watching the battle from the periphery, he could still feel the terrifying fluctuations from the battle between Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint. It made his heart tremble. The Yuanshan Saint knew how strong the Wuji Saint was. The chaotic sacred body was known as the #1 sacred body in the heavens, and it was not a lie. It was said to be invincible among those of the same level. Not only did it have a chaotic physical body, but it also had an immortal chaotic primordial spirit. It was also naturally close to the Great Path, and its strength was extremely terrifying. However, he did not expect that Ling Xiao, who was one level lower than the Wuji Saint, had such terrifying strength that he could be on par with the Wuji Saint. Chaotic Finger. The Wuji Saint's eyes were sharp. He knew that Ling Xiao was strong, so he did not hold back. He used the supreme sacred technique of the Chaotic Heaven sect. He pointed a finger at Ling Xiao's forehead. His finger traversed the void, and the distance of hundreds of millions of miles was covered in an instant. This finger was extremely sharp, and it locked onto Ling Xiao's forehead, wanting to destroy Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Immortal Seal. Divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He held the invincible fist print in his hand, and his body exuded an immortal and indestructible fluctuation as he blasted towards the Wuji Saint. This was the killing move of the indestructible sacred technique, and it could seal the heavens and shatter everything. Kacha. The immortal seal and the chaotic finger collided, and a blazing chaotic light was produced. It was like metal clashing, and it was extremely sharp. Although the Wuji Saint's chaotic finger looked like a single finger, it contained tens of thousands of changes. After being blocked by the immortal seal, it began to pierce towards Ling Xiao's vital parts like a sharp sword radiance. Ling Xiao used the immortal seal, and afterimages appeared around him. They constantly collided with the sharp chaotic finger, causing divine light to flash in the void, and the heavens and earth to roar. Swoosh! The Wuji Saint seemed to have found a flaw in Ling Xiao. He turned his finger into a palm and slashed down. Suddenly, a blazing saber radiance passed through the gap and slashed towards Ling Xiao's head. Rumble! Ling Xiao didn't seem to be able to resist. In addition, the Wuji Saint's palm blade was extremely sharp. It actually split Ling Xiao into two halves, which then exploded in the void. Teleportation secret technique? A sharp light flashed in the Wuji Saint's eyes. He immediately realized that he had only killed an afterimage. Then, without thinking, he slapped his palm behind him. Rumble! Vast chaotic energy gushed out, and Ling Xiao appeared behind the Wuji Saint. He was about to throw a punch at the Wuji Saint's back, but it was blocked by the Wuji Saint's palm. Gotcha! Blazing lightning exploded, and the huge rebounding force made the Wuji Saint borrow the force to fly out. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered, and his body started to spin like a top. He deflected the huge rebound force, and then kicked out in the air, aiming directly at the Wuji Saint's face. You're courting death. The Wuji Saint's face turned cold. Ling Xiao's action was simply looking down on, and humiliating him. Instantly, a trace of anger appeared in his heart. A sharp sword radiance shot out from his palm, and it turned into a blazing sword aura. He wanted to cut off Ling Xiao's leg. Bang! Suddenly, a dragon's roar shook the sky, and golden dragon scales appeared on Ling Xiao's feet. After colliding with the sword aura, dazzling sparks erupted. Ling Xiao twisted his body in the void, and he shot across the sky at an incredible angle. His entire body seemed to have turned into a big bow, and his invincible fist print was like an arrow. He suddenly shot it towards the Wuji Saint. Rumble! Chaotic energy rose around Ling Xiao. He used the Heavenly Emperor's fist, and a mysterious 3,000 world shadow appeared around him. The fist print contained vast and unparalleled power that could suppress and kill everything. It made him exude a majestic and domineering aura. The Heavenly Emperor's fist was Ling Xiao's most powerful emperor technique, and it had endless potential. Every time Ling Xiao used it, he could feel that the Heavenly Emperor's fist was extremely powerful, as if it was endless. Chapter 22:13. Boom! In the face of Ling Xiao's unparalleled Heavenly Sovereign's fist, the Wuji Saint's body flashed with chaotic light. The chaotic sky-splitting palm was facing the sky. The huge palm print contained a mysterious illusory world. It was as if it was splitting the sky and earth. The Heavenly Sovereign's fist was extremely fierce. When Ling Xiao displayed this fist, whether it was the fist intent or the state of mind, it was as if he had transformed into the ancient Heavenly Sovereign. This fist was invincible and could destroy all enemies. Even though the primal chaos heaven opening palm was incomparably powerful, it was still broken by the Heavenly Emperor's fist. The chaotic light that filled the sky exploded. The everlasting saint felt his arm go numb, and his entire body trembled. He groaned and was directly sent flying. What? Yuan Chun Saint's body trembled. He was a little stunned. The Wuji Saint was injured by Ling Xiao so quickly? Could it be that he was going to be defeated by Ling Xiao today and end his invincible legend? One should know that the Wuji Saint had been invincible since his debut. In the chaotic ancient land, whether it was the human race's supreme talents or the myriad world's supreme talents, they were all defeated by the Wuji Saint. Even the demon emperor of the demon race was defeated by him. The Wuji Saint thought highly of himself. His real goal was to become the legendary Son of Heaven. He wanted to defeat the Son of the Heavenly Sovereign and become the most powerful person in history. He wanted to become the chosen one and dominate this opportunity. However, looking at the result of this battle, could it be that he was going to be defeated by Ling Xiao before he could fight the Son of Heaven? So what if you have the chaotic sacred body? Aren't you going to be defeated by Ling Xiao no long out Yen? Wuji Saint, you're still too weak. Aha. The old goat laughed arrogantly and his eyes were full of pride. Ling Xiao will win this battle. Taoist Wuliang also smiled faintly and was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Although Jin Sei and Feng Qingyang did not say anything, they looked very calm. It was as if they were not worried about Ling Xiao at all, and thought that the result of this battle was already decided. Since Ling Xiao had entered the ancient land of chaos, he had killed many geniuses, suppressed many evildoers, and was invincible. They had absolute confidence in Ling Xiao. Not to mention the everlasting saint. Even if the Son of Heaven fought against Ling Xiao, they believed that Ling Xiao would win. Long Out Yin, you have completely angered me. The Wuji Saint wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stared coldly at Ling Xiao. There seemed to be an incomparably terrifying aura rising from his body. In the chaotic light, mysterious runes of the Great Path spread out, as if enveloping the entire world. The so-called chaotic sacred body is nothing more than this. Since you're the holy son of the Primal Chaos Heavenly Sect, you should know the Primal Chaos secret technique, right? Use your Primal Chaos secret technique, or you won't be a match for me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. Among the 12 heaven arts, the Primal Chaos secret technique was the undisputed number one. Legend had it that it contained the secrets of the 10,000 worlds. It could break through all techniques and be invincible. Ling Xiao was naturally looking forward to the Primal Chaos secret skill. He wanted to see if the Everlasting Saint had the Primal Chaos secret skill. If the Everlasting Saint had the Primal Chaos secret skill, he would obtain it at all costs. You want to see the Primal Chaos secret technique? Very good. If that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll let you know what the true chaotic sacred body is. The Everlasting Saint's eyes were incomparably cold. They were like ice that would never melt and could freeze everything. Rumble. Blazing chaotic light gushed out from his body. The mysterious aura around him surged, causing countless mysterious scenes to appear around him. It was like the birth and death of the universe, but also like the struggle of 10,000 creatures. The Everlasting Saint's body exuded an immortal and indestructible fluctuation. His aura began to skyrocket. He stood between the heavens and the earth. His body exuded a fluctuation that made one's heart tremble. Runes of the laws flickered in his body. His entire body merged with the Great Path. Blazing thunderbolts erupted around him. Crack. He took a step forward, and the sky shattered. With a punch, everything returned to the void. The extremely overbearing fist print pressed down on Ling Xiao. It contained the power to annihilate everything, causing the surrounding sky to tremble. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. It was as if he felt some kind of irresistible power. At this moment, facing the Everlasting Saint, he actually had the illusion that he could not resist. Is this the Primal Chaos secret technique? Great. Battle intent rose in Ling Xiao's eyes. Blazing thunderbolts erupted around him. The original thunderbolts emerged, turning him into a thunder emperor that could suppress all eternity. Wrapped in monstrous thunderbolts, he charged towards the Everlasting Saint. Heaven's punishment secret technique had erupted. At the same time, chaotic light rose above Ling Xiao's head. A cauldron, a saber, a spear, and a sword appeared. For powerful emperor weapon imprints intertwined with each other like a divine light storm. He activated the heaven battling secret technique to the extreme. Ling Xiao activated the most powerful force to contend against the Everlasting Saint with heaven's punishment secret technique and heaven battling secret technique. Rumble. Blazing divine light erupted in an instant. It was as though two resplendent suns had exploded, or as though an endless volcano had erupted. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint had engaged in an intense battle in the sky. Thunderbolts filled the sky and shot towards the Everlasting Saint. However, his chaotic fist imprints were unparalleled. His body exuded an aura that was invincible. With a casual strike, he could break the thunderbolts that filled the sky. The Wuji Saint stepped forward. As he moved, the world around him shook as he made his moves. Invincible fist prints continued to fall on Ling Xiao, causing Ling Xiao to tremble all over. A blazing storm of divine light burst out. Although the Heaven's Punishment secret technique was unparalleled, it seemed to be restrained by the Primal Chaos secret technique. The original thunderbolts were assimilated by the chaos and disappeared without a trace. The Emperor Yen Cauldron, the Seven Slaughter Saber, the Army Destroyer Spear, and the Sword of Greedy Wolf floated around Ling Xiao, exuding blazing murderous intent. Ling Xiao fought fiercely with the Everlasting Saint. Every strike shook the sky and shattered the sun and moon. The huge heavenly palace seemed to be on the verge of exploding at any time. The Everlasting Saint unleashed the Primal Chaos secret technique. It was as if he had transformed into an ancient great emperor. He moved across the sun, moon, and stars. Thousands of worlds were created and destroyed under his feet. All the experts were turned into nothingness in the chaos. Every time Ling Xiao collided with the Everlasting Saint, he was sent flying. If it wasn't for the protection of the 4 extreme Dao Emperor weapons, he would have been severely injured. The Everlasting Saint's Primal Chaos secret technique boosted his combat strength to the extreme. He was able to contend against the extreme Dao Emperor's aura. Even the 4 extreme Dao Emperor weapons couldn't break through the chaotic light defense around him. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Xiao was sent flying by the Everlasting Saint like a rubber ball. It was as if he couldn't form an effective defense or counterattack. Chapter 22:14. Boom. The Wuji Saint's fist landed on Ling Xiao's chest. The chaotic light exploded, and Ling Xiao was sent flying. His chest caved in, and cracks appeared on his body. It was as if he was going to fall apart at any time. Ling Xiao activated the Heaven Battling secret skill to the extreme. The 4 great Imperial weapon imprints were unparalleled, but they were no match for the Wuji Saint's secret skill of chaos. They were shattered. The Wuji Saint stood in the air, and chaotic light gushed out from his body. There was a mysterious scene of endless worlds being born and destroyed. The great Tao intertwined, and runes floated around him. They were as bright as stars, and every move he made had the supreme power to split the heavens and earth. Crack! The Wuji Saint struck out with his palm, and blazing lightning exploded. The palm print covered the sky and pressed down, shattering the giant golden dragon behind Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao staggered back, and then used the secret skill of teleportation to retreat quickly. Is this the secret skill of chaos? Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp. Although his face was a little pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, the battle intent around him was getting stronger and stronger. The Wuji Saint's Primal Chaos secret skill finally allowed Ling Xiao to witness how terrifying the Primal Chaos secret skill was. Kill! Ling Xiao roared, and 5-colored divine light gushed out from his body. He used the secret skill of 5 elements to devour Zhou Tian's 5 elements Great Dao origin. At the same time, he used the secret skill of Yin Yang, and turned it into a blazing Yin Yang sword light, which slashed toward the Wuji Saint. The Yin Yang sword light seemed to have split the heavens and earth into 2. It was extremely sharp, and could cut through everything in the void. Clang! The Wuji Saint's expression was cold. He stretched out his arm to block the attack. His arm was shrouded in chaotic mist, and it showed chaotic colors. When it collided with the Yin Yang sword light, the sound of metal clashing rang out. He clapped his palms, and the Yin Yang sword light was caught between his palms. It suddenly exploded. From the Wuji Saint's palms, a chaotic light shot toward Ling Xiao. It was like a divine chain of order, and it wanted to bind him. Whoosh! Ling Xiao soared into the sky. The divine light of the 5 elements around him was dazzling, giving him an aura that was impenetrable. At the same time, he used the sky-swallowing secret technique, and a vast sky-swallowing divine sea appeared behind him. His entire body became illusory. That ray of chaotic light instantly shot into the heaven-devouring divine sea and stirred up monstrous waves. Ling Xiao activated the heaven-devouring secret skill with all his might, and devoured the chaotic light completely. Then, rays of reincarnation light appeared from the heaven-devouring divine sea. They contain the past and the future, nurturing the mystery of life and death. They covered the sky and shrouded the Wuji Saint. Samsara! Ling Xiao shouted coldly. The light of reincarnation seemed to have completely locked onto the Wuji Saint. It wanted to cut off the Wuji Saint's lifespan, and send him into the cycle of reincarnation. The secret reincarnation technique erupted. This was the first time Ling Xiao had fully activated the secret reincarnation technique. Although his current cultivation was not enough to fully activate the secret reincarnation technique, the light of reincarnation was extremely terrifying. Even a saint would find it difficult to resist it. Circles of reincarnation light rotated. Every rotation seemed to be able to cut off tens of thousands of years of lifespan and destroy endless vitality. However, the Wuxia saint was shrouded in the light of reincarnation. The chaotic light around him was eternal and mysterious. It actually resisted the attack of the light of reincarnation. It seemed like he was not affected at all. Secret skill of the 5 elements, secret skill of the yin-yang, secret skill of the sky-swallowing secret skill, and the secret reincarnation technique. How do you have so many secret skills of the heaven techniques? The Wuxia saint's eyes were filled with shock as he stared at Ling Xiao. Kacha. Chaotic light gushed out from his arms. Runes appeared on his arms. Then he pushed his arms out. The blazing runes exploded, and the light of reincarnation that shrouded him was shattered. The Wuxia saint's heart was extremely unsettled. He became more and more curious about Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had so many secret skills of the heaven techniques. This kind of heaven-defying opportunity and creation made him a little jealous. Although he had the chaotic sacred body and had inherited the secret skills of the chaos, it still took him countless years of hard work to cultivate the secret skills of the chaos to the minor completion realm. Now Ling Xiao knew so many secret skills of the heaven techniques, and his attainments in each of them were not low. Rumble. The battle between Ling Xiao and the Wuxia saint was getting more and more intense. Although Ling Xiao had several secret skills of the heaven techniques, they were all restrained by the secret skills of the chaos. As a result, Ling Xiao was unable to form an effective counterattack. Instead, he began to suffer heavy injuries under the Wuxia saint's attacks. Streaks of chaotic light blasted into Ling Xiao's body, causing his body to tremble. Cracks appeared on his body, as if it would collapse at any time. Chaos, the origin of all skills, the origin of the heavenly way. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of understanding. His body was buzzing and trembling. Similarly, mysterious chaotic light emerged, causing his body to become stronger. The chaotic light blasted into Ling Xiao's body by the Wuxia saint seemed to have become nourishment for Ling Xiao's body. It caused his body to undergo some kind of transformation, becoming more powerful and terrifying. Roar. The dragon's roar shook the heavens. Ling Xiao's body emitted a dragon's roar that shook the heavens. The originally dazzling golden dragon started to turn chaotic. An ancient and mysterious energy gushed out from Ling Xiao's body. Crack. Lightning blazed around him, and chaotic mist filled the air. Blazing rays of light illuminated the sky. An extremely terrifying energy fluctuation erupted from his body, spreading out halos of light. The Wuxia saint's secret skills of the chaos seemed to have become a whetstone to refine Ling Xiao's body. It caused Ling Xiao's body to undergo some kind of bizarre transformation, and his strength began to skyrocket. Kill! Ling Xiao roared and blasted out a punch. His fist print was unparalleled, containing a vast heavenly emperor fist intent. The chaotic void in front of him exploded, as if an immortal world had emerged from it. The Wuxia saint only felt an invincible aura, as if an ancient great emperor had awakened. The unparalleled heavenly emperor fist intent caused his expression to change slightly. Chaos, creation as work. The Wuxia saint roared and blasted out both his fists. His fist print was unparalleled, containing an unparalleled divine power that could pierce through the world. It collided directly with Ling Xiao's fist. Crack! The blazing divine light exploded, and the primal chaos energy surged. It was as if an ancient world was about to shatter. The blazing divine light fluctuations spread out, causing the heavenly palace to tremble violently. Runes exploded one after another. And then, the heavenly palace split open from the middle. Rumble. Chapter 22:15. The ancient and mysterious heavenly palace was unable to withstand the blow from Ling Xiao and the Wuxia saint, and it shattered from the middle. The dazzling runes exploded, and divine light swept out. It was as if a huge storm had been set off between heaven and earth. The blazing divine light pillar pierced through the 9 heavens. It was vast and mysterious, and it exuded an incomparably ancient aura. Above the firmament, a huge chaotic vortex appeared in an instant, spewing out endless auspicious gas. It was as if there was an ancient and mysterious aura emanating from it. What is that? The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others were all shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The good fortune jade disc and the ancient scripture have both entered that place. Is this the real place where the treasures are hidden? The Yuanchen saint was also shocked. He saw that the creation jade disc fragment and the ancient scripture in the heavenly palace had entered the chaotic vortex at an extremely fast speed when the heavenly palace had shattered. The aura that gushed out from the chaotic vortex shook everyone's spirit. They felt as if they were floating in the air, as if they could break through the sky at any time. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, who were fighting fiercely, could not help but stop. Their eyes were filled with uncertainty. The sudden change in front of them was also beyond their expectations. Within the ancient aura, there was a looming Supreme Emperor's aura. It was as if there was an ancient great emperor hidden within it, and it made one's heart tremble. Swoosh! Swoosh! Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint looked at each other, and both of them leaped up at the same time, rushing toward the chaotic vortex. Both of them were decisive people. From the aura emanating from the chaotic vortex, they could tell that there must be a supreme treasure hidden within. Perhaps it was the real great emperor's inheritance. Therefore, they did not hesitate to give up the fearless battle, and chose to enter the chaotic vortex. Not to mention, the creation jade disc fragment, and the ancient scripture that they were fighting for had all entered the chaotic vortex. Let's go. Who knows, there might be some primeval emperor's inheritance hidden here. We can't miss such an opportunity. The old goat was also eager to give it a try. His eyes were filled with excitement as he leapt into the chaotic vortex. Jinsei, Daoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, and even Yuanchen Saint Sun all flew into the sky at the same time, and entered the chaotic whirlpool. Rumble! The surroundings were surging with chaotic energy. The divine light was dazzling and blazing like lightning, causing the void to distort. Time seemed to have stopped here. This was an incomparably mysterious void tunnel. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint had broken through the heavenly palace and coincidentally opened this mysterious place. After passing through the chaos passageway, Ling Xiao appeared in an unfamiliar space. The sky was overcast, and the earth was vast beyond compare. In the distance, there were undulating mountain ranges. They looked like divine swords that soared into the sky, incomparably steep. There were patches of black aura in the void, presenting an evil and strange aura fluctuation. This is devil qi. Could it be that we've arrived at the demon realm? Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat, and his expression became somewhat solemn. He could sense that the black aura in the void was extremely pure devil qi. It was a power unique to the demon clan experts. Why would such a space be sealed in the heavenly palace? Devil qi. The Wuji saint's expression also changed slightly as he sensed the strangeness of this space. Rumble. At the same time, lightning flashed in the void, and heaven and earth shook. Endless devil qi surged as if it had discovered Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint. A huge pitch-black palace appeared, surrounded by circles of black flames, causing one's heart to tremble. Most importantly, the emperor's aura that Ling Xiao had sensed was coming from this palace. Could this be the demon emperor's inheritance? The old goat and the others had also entered this space. When they saw the black palace in the void, they were all shocked. After all, this space looked too strange. It was extremely quiet all around, as if there were no living creatures. There was only the black palace in the void, exuding an ancient, majestic, and oppressive aura fluctuation. Wuji Saint, do you still want to continue fighting? Ling Xiao glanced at the Wuji saint and asked nonchalantly. I'll spare your life for now. Since this place is related to those demon bastards, I, Wuji saint, am not someone who doesn't know what's important. With the demon clan before us, the human clan naturally has to unite against them. We can't let those demon bastards see us as a joke. The Wuji saint sneered coldly. That's for the best. If there are people from the demon clan, Then we'll get rid of them first. We'll rely on our own methods to obtain the opportunities here. Ling Xiao said nonchalantly. He had changed his view of the Wuji Saint. The competition between him and the Wuji Saint could only be considered as an internal conflict within the human clan. However, when it came to the demon clan, it was a deep hatred. The Wuji Saint still looked at the big picture, unlike the scums of the human clan who had defected to the demon clan. That's right. I'd like to see what kind of demon bastard dares to behave atrociously in front of me. The Wuji Saint said coldly. Then the chaotic aura around him rose. He directly soared into the sky and flew toward the Black Palace in the void. Rumble. Outside the Black Palace, circles of flames rose. They contained an extremely pure aura of the demon clan. Black runes flickered and formed a powerful demon clan seal. This seal. It hasn't been set up for long. It seems that there are demon bastards among them. The Wuji Saint's eyes flashed sharply. Then, a blazing light rose from his body. Vast chaotic aura exploded, and an unparalleled fist print blasted forward. Crack! The huge fist print was like an ancient mountain. It directly blasted on the demon clan seal. Suddenly, heaven and earth trembled. Even the huge Black Palace trembled slightly. However, the demon clan seal was extremely sturdy. The Wuji Saint's fierce punch did not break it. It only caused the seal to shake violently. Who is it? Who dares to disturb my young master's cultivation? However, the Wuji Saint's actions still alarmed the people in the Black Palace. A murderous voice exploded in the void. Swoosh! 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 In the black flames, several figures suddenly appeared. They exuded an extremely powerful aura. In an instant they surrounded the Wuji Saint Ling Xiao and the others. Chapter 22:16. They were led by two white-haired old men. One was in a black robe while the other was in a white robe. The black-robed old man's aura was dark and evil, while the white-robed old man's aura was pure and holy. Their auras were completely different, but their bodies contained the original power of the demon clan. These two old men were surrounded by sage aura, and their auras were vast and unparalleled. They were both sages. The two saints led thousands of cultivators to surround Ling Xiao, the Wuji Saint and the others. Their aura was extremely terrifying. Murderous intent filled the air, causing the void to tremble. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were charging at them. There are so many demon bastards here? The old goat was shocked. He did not expect the Wuji Saint's punch to be like poking a hornet's nest. It immediately attracted the two demon clan sages and thousands of experts. Did they just say young master? Could it be that there's a demon clan genius or emperor's son cultivating here? Taoist Wuyang's eyes flashed as he heard the key point. If two demon clan sages are guarding this palace, I think it's definitely not ordinary. It's very likely to be the inheritance of the demon emperor. Feng Qingyang also said coldly, Human clan? How dare you disturb my young master's cultivation? Leave your lives here. The black-robed sage said coldly, and his eyes were filled with unconcealable killing intent. These few people seem to be geniuses of the human clan. They have powerful qi and blood, and their strength is extraordinary. If we refine their flesh and blood, we might be able to increase our strength greatly. Brother He, let's kill them first before anything happens. The white-robed sage said coldly. Rumble. The two of them were surrounded by sage aura, and their aura was extremely terrifying. It was as if darkness and light were intertwined, causing them to explode with powerful energy waves. A bunch of demon bastards. They're just chickens and pottery dogs. Long Out Yin, we didn't decide the winner just now. Why don't we each take one of these two old dogs and see who kills them first? What do you think? The Wuji Saint stared at the two demon clan sages in front of him and sneered. The way he saw it, the two demonic saints were like prey in his hands. He was not afraid at all. Instead, he was eager to kill the demonic saints. All right. Ling Xiao nodded, and the killing intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. The enmity between the human clan and the demon clan had started at the beginning of the epoch. It was said that the previous era was the era of the devil race, and the human race was incomparably miserable. They were treated as pigs, dogs, cattle, and sheep by the devil race and were casually slaughtered. They were even reared in captivity by the devil race experts and became their food. That was the darkest time of the human race. Countless humans died tragically, and the human race had already formed a blood feud with the devil race. At the end of the devil race's era, a peerless genius emerged from the human race. Once the heavenly sovereign emerged, the human race finally had hope. They gradually got rid of the control of the devil race. Moreover, during the Great Tribulation of the era, they competed with the experts of various worlds, and eventually became the lord of the era, establishing the human race's era. However, the foundation of the devil clan was incomparably deep. They had more than one great emperor. Although the 9 emperors of the human clan had appeared in the human clan, it was said that several of them had died in the hands of the devil clan's great emperor. This blood feud had lasted from the beginning of the human race's era to the present. When the human race and the devil race met, they would fight to the death. Only one of them could survive. Therefore, whenever Ling Xiao met the experts of the devil race, he would kill them without hesitation. "You're courting death." The words of the Wuxia saint and Ling Xiao had thoroughly angered the 2 sages of the devil race. Although they could see that Ling Xiao and the Wuxia saint's cultivation was extraordinary, the 2 of them had not attained the Tao and become sages. Yet they wanted to kill the sages. This aroused the boundless killing intent in their hearts. Rumble. The white-robed sage and the white-robed sage were surrounded by sage aura and attacked at the same time. One of them exuded a dark aura, while the other exuded boundless light. As they intertwined, the light and darkness shrouded the entire sky, containing monstrous killing intent. The thousands of experts from the demon race roared furiously as they charged forward. They were like a magnificent army charging forward. Their terrifying aura caused one's heart to tremble. If it was an ordinary person, he or she would have been killed before he or she could even fight back. "The black-robed old dog is mine," the Wuxia saint said coldly. He took the lead and charged towards the black-robed sage. Chaotic light gushed out from his body. He did not use any special skills, but simply threw out a punch. Kacha! The sky seemed to have exploded. Boundless black devil light surged. The domineering punch lit up the shock in the eyes of the black-robed sage. Then it exploded. In the void, the light and darkness intertwined. However, in front of the punch of the Wuxia saint, it shattered. The Wuxia saint charged towards the black-robed sage in a mighty manner. "Kill!" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he stared at the white-robed sage. When he was in the war god's world, he had fought with the experts of the devil race. From the mortal realm, immortal realm, sage-to-be realm, and sages of the devil race, he had accumulated a wealth of experience. Ling Xiao had long known how to kill the experts of the devil race in the shortest time possible. He used the secret teleportation technique to fly across the sky. His arms seemed to be pushing the sun, moon, and stars as he moved. Behind him, the vast sky-devouring divine sea erupted and shrouded the white-robed sage. The sky-devouring secret technique was a supreme technique that could restrain the experts of the devil race. It had always been successful, even against the sages of the devil race. Rumble. The old goat, Jin Se, Taoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, and the Yuanchen saint charged towards the thousands of experts of the devil race. They were all experts of the 3rd realm of heaven treading. Each of them had an imposing manner, and their attacks were swift and fierce. Like tigers in a flock of sheep, they launched a massacre. The experts of the devil race formed a powerful battle formation with each other. However, in front of the experts of the 3rd realm of heaven treading, they were like paper. They were all torn and crushed, and then completely killed. The void was filled with a strong smell of blood. Broken limbs were everywhere. It was like Azura hell. Boom. The black-robed sage tried his best to block the Wuxia saint's chaotic fist mark, but he found that the Wuxia saint's chaotic fist mark was becoming more and more domineering. It had completely locked him in place, leaving him nowhere to run. Although the black-robed sage had the cultivation of the saint realm, and possessed the power of the great path law, the Wuxia saint was surrounded by chaotic qi and was invulnerable. As a result, the black-robed sage's attack couldn't do any damage to the Wuxia saint. The black-robed sage was extremely aggrieved. It didn't take long for him to be completely at a disadvantage. On the other side, the white-robed sage looked even more miserable. Rumble. The vast sky-devouring divine sea erupted like a mysterious world of devouring, trapping the careless white-robed sage within. The vast sky-devouring divine power erupted and began to devour the origin energy within the white-robed sage's body. The white-robed sage's soul almost left his body. He struggled violently, but there was no way for him to escape the range of the sky-devouring divine sea. Chapter 22:17. Gotcha. Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as he punched out. The chaotic light around him rose, and the illusory image of the 3,000 great worlds appeared. The heavenly emperor's fist had completely exploded. The white-robed saint, who was already deep in the heaven-devouring divine sea, had a drastic change in his expression. Blazing light gushed out from his body, and a pair of flawless white wings grew out from his back. He rose into the air and struggled out of the heaven-devouring divine sea's range, wanting to escape from Ling Xiao's punch. As a saint, his senses were extremely sharp. He could sense the terror of Ling Xiao's punch, and it was not something he could contend with. Rumble. The blazing fist print pressed down, but the white-robed saint was still a little too slow. The pair of wings behind him suddenly exploded, and the heavenly emperor's fist landed on his chest, directly piercing through him. Blood rained down from the void, and it looked extremely ferocious. Die. Ling Xiao said coldly. The heaven-devouring secret skill exploded once again, completely swallowing the white-robed saint. This time, the white-robed saint did not have the slightest strength to resist, and his entire body exploded into pieces. The saint and the great path were one, and his physical body was constantly being nourished by the great path origin energy. The flesh and blood of the white-robed saint contained an incomparably vast amount of energy. At this moment, all of it had been devoured by Ling Xiao, and it had become a part of Ling Xiao's body, causing Ling Xiao's aura to skyrocket. On the other side, chaotic light gushed out from the Wuxia saint's body. He grabbed the white-robed saint with both of his arms. An unparalleled divine power exploded, directly tearing the white-robed saint in half. It was extremely brutal. The Wuxia saint frowned slightly. He did not expect to fall behind Ling Xiao, and that Ling Xiao would kill the white-robed saint first. Thank you for letting me win. Ling Xiao smiled faintly at the Wuxia saint. Humph. The Wuxia saint snorted coldly. He was in a bad mood, and his killing intent was boiling. He instantly rushed towards the experts of the demon race. His fists were like dragons, and they contained unparalleled energy fluctuations. Almost every time he punched, an expert of the demon race would explode into a bloody mist, and their souls would be completely scattered. In the blink of an eye, the two sages of the demon race were killed by Ling Xiao and the Wuxia saint without any resistance. The thousands of devil race experts were completely shocked. Their eyes were filled with fear and despair. However, none of them fled or begged for mercy. Instead, their gazes became increasingly vicious. Blazing demonic light gushed out from their bodies as they burned their life essence and charged toward Ling Xiao and the others. Boom, boom, boom. They exploded one by one in the void, creating blazing storms of divine light. They wanted to take Ling Xiao and the others down with them. However, the difference was still too great. Their deaths were destined to be worthless. It didn't take long for all the devil experts to be slaughtered. The air was filled with the stench of blood. Severed limbs were flying all over the place. It was like a scene straight out of hell. Kill. Ling Xiao and the Wuxia saint looked at each other and rushed toward the huge black palace at the same time. Their bodies exploded with supreme power as they began to bombard the demon race's enchantment around the black palace. They didn't relax at all because they knew that there was still a gifted genius of the demon race in the Black Palace. At this moment, he might be cultivating a supreme secret skill of the demon race, or receiving the inheritance of a supreme expert. To be able to have two sages and so many devil race experts to protect him, the gifted genius of the demon race must be extremely powerful. They couldn't relax at all. Rumble. The Wuxia saint unleashed the supreme chaotic sky-splitting palm. Every palm print contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. When it hit the demon race's enchantment, the demon race's enchantment trembled violently. Ling Xiao took out the flipping sky seal and used its supreme power to suppress the demon race's enchantment. The flipping sky seal was a supreme treasure that contained the power of the supreme emperor. At the same time, the Thunder Spirit King had received the secret skill of Heaven's Punishment from Ling Xiao. It possessed the divine power of Heaven's Punishment. When it struck, a large number of runes exploded, causing the demon race's enchantment to tremble. The flipping sky seal? It seems that he didn't reveal all his trump cards in the battle with me just now. The Wuji Saint's eyes flashed as he glanced at Ling Xiao and thought to himself. The power of the flipping sky seal was extremely terrifying. In particular, he could feel the Supreme Emperor's power from it. This made him secretly shocked and even more cautious of Ling Xiao. Crack! After a while, under the joint attack of Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint, the demon race's enchantment suddenly exploded. Endless demon light surged and swept out in all directions like a storm. At the same time, the huge palace in the center was exposed. It was a demon palace floating above the ninth heaven. Black demon chi surged around it. It was made of some kind of mysterious metal, and exuded an ancient, mysterious, and majestic aura. No one knew how long this black palace had existed. It looked magnificent and extraordinary. When Ling Xiao and the others saw it, they felt small in their hearts. At this moment, the two black doors were tightly shut. However, Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint could feel a strong smell of blood coming from the black palace. There were also the roars of fierce beasts that shook the sky. It seemed that some kind of mysterious transformation was taking place inside the palace. Oh no! No matter who is inside, we must stop him. Ling Xiao's eyes became extremely sharp. A strong sense of crisis emerged in his heart. It was a warning from the secret skill of fate and the wordless heavenly book. It seemed that if he didn't do something, he would be in great trouble soon. Boom. Ling Xiao didn't even think about it. The flipping sky seal suddenly expanded like a black, immemorial divine mountain. It was surrounded by blazing lightning and surging chaotic light. A vast supreme emperor's power erupted from it, and suppressed the black palace in an instant. An earth-shattering sound rang out in the void. The black palace trembled violently. Numerous black runes and ancient characters appeared on its surface. In an instant, an immeasurable amount of light radiated out in all directions. However, the black palace was stronger than Ling Xiao had imagined. The flipping sky seal was so fierce that even a saint would be crushed into powder in an instant. Even a supreme-grade holy treasure would be completely turned into scrap metal. However, the black palace was not damaged at all. Break! An ancient and mysterious voice burst out from the Wuji Saint's mouth. Crack! His glabella seemed to split open. Endless divine light surged. A fierce saber light burst out from his glabella. There seemed to be a mysterious figure that made the saber light burn to the extreme. It was as if it could cut open the heavens and myriad worlds, destroy all living things, and return everything to chaos. Chapter 22:18. This is the power of an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He could feel that the saber light was too terrifying. It contained a powerful extreme Dao Emperor aura. It was as though an ancient great emperor had completely awakened, and was about to split open the chaos and annihilate the endless space-time. The Wuji Saint possessed an extreme Dao Emperor weapon? Isn't the chaotic heaven sect's extreme Dao Emperor weapon the chaotic Yuan Sky Bell? Where did this saber-shaped extreme Dao Emperor weapon come from? Ling Xiao frowned slightly as he thought to himself. It seemed like the Wuji Saint was not as simple as he had imagined. He had many secrets and trump cards that he had not revealed. Boom! As the chaotic saber light fell, the endless runes on the Black Palace were annihilated. It was as though the Black Palace could not withstand the power of the saber, and was split into two halves by the chaotic saber light. Endless demonic light exploded. The Black Palace was split open by the Wuji Saint's saber, and the scene within was revealed. Rumble! In the Black Palace, there was a surging sea of blood. Bloody light filled the air, and it contained an evil and terrifying power fluctuation. A blood cocoon that was as bright as a bloody sun floated in the sea of blood. It was beating like a heart. Every time it beat, there was a strange rhythm. At the same time, it was devouring the endless energy in the sea of blood. One could vaguely see that the blood cocoon was crystal clear. A mysterious figure emerged from it. It looked like a young man. His aura was terrifying and his power was constantly increasing. After the Wuxia Saint's chaotic saber light split the Black Palace, it was blocked by the blood cocoon. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. It was as if the saber light had struck a metal rock, and then it was annihilated. "What's that?" the old goat exclaimed. "There's someone in the blood cocoon. It seems like he's the young lord that the demon race experts mentioned. He seems to be receiving some kind of inheritance." Taoist Wuliang also furrowed his brows, his eyes filled with solemnity. The blood cocoon in the Black Palace looked extremely strange. However, for some reason, everyone felt their scalps tingle when they saw the blood cocoon. They could feel an extremely dangerous fluctuation coming from it. Divine punishment. Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he made his move decisively. He used the flipping sky seal to control the secret skill of divine punishment. Blazing lightning rose around the flipping sky seal, as if it had turned into a primordial thunder pool, containing the majestic and mysterious light of divine punishment. It rumbled and suppressed the blood cocoon. The power of thunder was also known as the power of evil slaying. It was extremely strong and domineering. It had a great restraining effect on evil powers like the demonic Tao. Although Ling Xiao did not know what the blood cocoon was, nor did he know who was in it, he had a premonition that if the person in the blood cocoon came out, they would all be in trouble. Kill. The Wuxia Saint's eyes were also extremely sharp. Chaotic light rose around him, and turned into a chaotic divine spear in his hand. Unparalleled divine power erupted from his body. He grabbed the chaotic divine spear, and threw it toward the blood cocoon. The joint attack of the two supreme geniuses was enough to kill a saint. It had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. They attacked the blood cocoon at the same time. Boom. The flipping sky seal blasted on the blood cocoon. Blazing lightning exploded. Rings of divine punishment contain the power to destroy everything. They constantly annihilated the surrounding blood light, causing the blood sea to explode. Streaks of blood wolves rushed into the sky. The blood cocoon buzzed and trembled. It actually emitted an incomparably sharp sound that contained an extremely powerful sound wave divine ability. As it swept out, it caused Ling Xiao and the others to feel a pain in their heads. Even their consciousness was rumbling and shaking. Kacha. The Wuxia Saint's chaotic divine spear also shot at the blood cocoon at the same time. Terrifying chaotic light exploded. Unparalleled divine power acted on the blood cocoon in an instant. The blood cocoon seemed to have reached its limit. It began to tremble violently, and an endless amount of blood light gushed out. It was as if a resplendent sun had exploded, and an endless amount of multicolored light gushed out in an instant. Boom. The chaotic divine spear shattered in the face of the explosive power of the blood cocoon. Even the flipping sky seal shook violently and flew back. However, the blood cocoon also shattered under the effect of the chaotic divine spear and the flipping sky seal. A fragrant smell wafted out from within. Buzz. The mysterious blood beads emitted 9-colored light. At the same time, a fragrance assailed their nostrils, causing the surrounding area to transform into many mysterious ancient life worlds. The 9-colored blood beads contained an incomparably vast amount of life essence. Even from a great distance, the aura caused Ling Xiao and the other spirits to soar. Their eyes instantly lit up. Although they did not know what the 9-colored blood beads were, they knew that they must be supreme treasures. At the same time, a voice that contained monstrous anger exploded in the void. "You killed my servant, destroyed my palace, and spared my cultivation. All of you must die." Rumble. The figure in the blood cocoon instantly emerged. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura, causing the surrounding void to tremble at the same time. Endless black demonic light and blood light intertwined and wrapped around his body like giant pythons. It was a young man in a blood-red robe. He was tall and slender, and his skin was as clear as snow. His face was incomparably handsome, and there was a demonic feeling about him. His eyes were like blood moons, revealing monstrous killing intent. He had a head of demonic blood-red hair, like blood-red pythons densely intertwined. It made his scalp tingle at a glance. An ancient, terrifying, and mysterious aura was awakened from his body. In an instant, it shook the surrounding sky, causing the endless black demonic aura to begin to surge. "Who are you?" the Wuxia saint said coldly, killing intent surfacing in his eyes. He could feel that the young man in the blood-red robe contained an extremely terrifying power fluctuation. It was even a little stagnant. Apparently, he had obtained some kind of inheritance and had not had time to refine it, causing his cultivation to skyrocket. This made the Wuxia saint even more furious. If the young man in the blood-red robe really refined that kind of inheritance, they would be in big trouble. "I am the Blood Prison Emperor. You despicable humans are only fit to be the blood food of my sacred race. Since you dare to come here today, then leave your lives behind." The Blood Prison Emperor licked his lips, and the killing intent in his eyes was almost tangible. "Blood Prison Emperor? I've never heard of you. How dare you speak so arrogantly? Soon you will be able to go down and find your subordinates." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.